Chapter 97. Han Fei wondered if the level 1 fishery was surrounded by the 8 villages. Where was the level 2 fishery? As if knowing Han Fei's thoughts, the village leader said, the level 2 fishery is farther away, 2,000 kilometers away from the 8 villages. Han Fei was surprised. So, in fact, we are not surrounded by the level 1 fishery, but by the level 1 fishery and the level 2 fishery? The village leader nodded with a smile. Yes. Then the level 3 fishery. The village leader glanced at Han Fei. Do you know why the fisheries outside the level 3 fishery are called the unknown places? Han Fei shook his head. The village leader explained, the level 3 fishery is beyond the scope of the village's exploration. A great fishing master in the level 3 fishery is equivalent to an ordinary fisherman in the mixed area between the ordinary fishery and the level 1 fishery, and the probability of his death is very high. So the level 3 fishery does not exist around the village at all. It is located in a remote area and can only be reached through the teleportation array in the town. Han Fei could understand and continued to ask, what about the unknown places? When you are strong enough, you will naturally know about the unknown places. Even I don't know about them. Okay, now that you understand the division of level 1, 2, and 3 fisheries, let's return to the level 1 fishery. With that, the village leader took a deep look at Han Fei. Do you know the meaning of the fishing trial? The parents of those children clearly know that they may die, but why do they still force their children to participate? Why do some parents cry secretly when their children die but don't regret this decision? Han Fei asked, is it for the level 1 fishery? The village leader nodded. The level 1 fishery is far more terrible than the fishing trial. When you get there, you may meet people you don't know, and you don't know who will suddenly appear to kill you. So the most terrible thing in the level 1 fishery is not the fish, but the people. Han Fei took a deep breath. It could be imagined that there must be a lot of killings and robberies in the 8 villages sharing a fishery. At this time, Han Fei roughly learned about the fishing trial. Many people began to form alliances and then had internal strife. If it was not an alliance of the same village, the probability of internal strife was extremely high. Even if it was a village, if they obtained a certain treasure, there would be internal strife. Han Fei suddenly remembered something and said to the village leader, the power of demonic fish. Tang Gu told me before that you can absorb the power of demonic fish in the level 1 fishery. The village leader gave Han Fei an appreciative look. Yes, it's the power of the demonic fish. It said that people can absorb the power of demonic fish when they were fishermen, and many people have absorbed it. Isn't the power of demonic fish directly absorbed from the demonic fish in the level 1 fishery? Ha! You're oversimplifying things. The village chief thought to himself, I just want to see your inexperienced look. The village leader continued, you should have seen the so-called power of the demonic fish. At least many members of the fish dragons have it. Li Ju also has it, but we call it contractual spiritual beast. Ah! Han Fei looked at the village leader in astonishment. How could it be? If it's a contractual spiritual beast, why have I only seen Li Ju and Li Gang? The others don't seem to have it. They only seem to have obtained power. The village leader's face became slightly solemn. So, this is why all the villages have to enter the level 1 fishery. The failure rate for ordinary fishermen or fishing masters to sign a contract with an ordinary demonic fish in the level 1 fishery was too high, mainly because the level of the ordinary demonic fish was too low. This kind of ordinary demonic fish had no intelligence. So those who failed could only get the power of some demonic fish but couldn't sign a contract. But the tigerhead fish you've seen except for spiritual beasts are spiritual beasts, right? Its quality is considered a rare species, and it is fundamentally different from ordinary fish. So, there are a lot of rare demonic fish in the level 1 fishery. The village leader shook his head again. Not a lot, but a small number of rare demonic fish, or rare demonic fish mutated from ordinary demonic fish. Think about it, the level 1 fishery is only so big, but there are so many people who come to fish for demonic fish, so it's not uncommon for them to compete with each other. What's more, Once they find that people other than their own village get rare demonic fish, it's easy to attract several other villages to besiege them. Why? The village leader smiled bitterly. Why? To restrict the development of other villages. Do you know that once a genius rises in a village, the benefits to that village are beyond your imagination? What benefits? Tengu counts, right? The village leader nodded. Yes. Do you know that Tengu was taken away by an angel caused a sensation in the town and other villages? I guess so. A level 7 spiritual heritage, I don't think it has even appeared in the town, right? The village leader sighed. Yes. It's a blessing and a curse. Originally, when Tengu was taken away by an angel, our Heavenly Water Village could have been moved to the position of the Heavenly Heart Village and replaced it. Han Fei was stunned. Wait a minute, Grandpa Leader. Can our floating island move? The village leader smiled. You won't understand. This is an array left by an ancient strong to intensify the competition between villages so as to cultivate strong people. Forget it, I don't need to talk so much with you. I'm old and talkative. I tell you this because every fishing master in the village has a task. Han Fei frowned. What task? The village leader said seriously, compete. Every fishing master has to compete for rare demonic fish. You should know that all the schools in our village distribute free spirit swallowed fish soup. This is also a competition for the next generation. So in fact, every village has an unwritten rule. Go to the level 1 fishery and catch as many spirit swallowed fish as possible. Theoretically, everyone's task is to catch 500 caddies of spirit swallowed fish a month. Han Fei blinked. Then you've been a fishing master for 3 days, right? You still have 27 days to catch 500 caddies of spirit swallowed fish. Of course, if you can find a contractual spiritual beast, you don't have to pay any more. By the way, absorbing the power of demonic fish doesn't count. The power of demonic fish is not comparable to that of contractual spiritual fish. Han Fei almost fainted. Damn it. I thought my good days had come. I was busy dealing with the fish dragons. But now I'm going to the level 1 fishery to grab resources. If they send 2 peak level fishing masters, I'll be dead. The village leader smiled. Han Fei, you're still young. Don't envy those fishing masters who can stay in the village. They have all paid a heavy price. Even Li Ju has killed more than 10 fishing masters from other villages and interrupted the signing of contractual spiritual beasts of other villages twice. Han Fei felt that there were 10,000 ironhead fish galloping in his heart. I'm still a child. With that, the village leader handed over a book. Take it. This is the incantation to sign a contractual spiritual beast. Go back and cultivate quickly. Don't waste more unnecessary things on the fish dragons. Han Fei rolled his eyes. I haven't even warmed up my position as the leader of this gang yet. I have to go back and cultivate before I can establish my image as an arrogant playboy. Back to the plantation. Sister Qin had just come back. Sister Qin, don't you go to work today? I'm taking a break. Oh. Sister Qin, may I ask if you have a contractual spiritual beast? Jiang Qin said lightly, why? Are you going to the level 1 fishery? Han Fei scratched his head. The village leader came to me today and asked me to catch 500 caddies of spirit swallowed fish every month. He also asked me to compete with him. I'm too young to compete with him. I'd better catch spirit swallowed fish. Ha! Jiang Qin sneered. You can't compete with him. Li Ju has been killed by you. Why are you still pretending to be weak? Jiang Qin rolled her eyes and with a flash of spiritual energy in her hand, a big blue lobster appeared in front of her. Attach. Han Fei's face changed in an instant because Jiang Qin had already thrown a punch at him. Sister Qin, clang, Han Fei raised his rod to block it and was sent flying. Han Fei crawled out of the vegetable garden and said bitterly, Sister Qin, why did you hit me? Let me show you the power of a contractual spiritual beast. I just used the power of a beginner fishing master. How do you feel? Han Fei's face changed. A beginner fishing master. Isn't that the same as me? But how can her attack power be so strong? Han Fei immediately said, No, Sister Qin, I've fought with Li Ju. Even if he was possessed by the tiger-head fish, he didn't surpass the limit of a great fishing master, let alone have the strength of a great fishing master. But according to your strength after possessing the body just now, you seem to have advanced by 2 realms. Jiang Qin nodded. To be precise, after being possessed by Little Blue, my strength has risen from a beginner fishing master to the peak of an intermediate fishing master, but there is still a long way to go before I reach the late stage. Why is Li Ju so weak after being possessed by the tiger-head fish? That's because he got a mother-son tiger-head fish. He gave the Z-fish to his son Li Hu. After the Z-fish died, the strength of the mother fish was greatly reduced. You're lucky. Han Fei broke out in a cold sweat. So if I hadn't killed Li Hu, I might not have been able to beat Li Ju. Damn it, this world is too dangerous. Read 2. Chapter 98. That night, Han Fei called Li Gang and the others over. I'm going to cultivate in seclusion this month. I'll give you the method of making hot pot. If you've tried it, you can deal with it yourself. I'm going to prepare for the level 1 fishery. Hearing the level 1 fishery, Li Gang and the others' faces changed drastically. Li Gang, so fast. Li Gan hesitated. Young master, don't trust anyone. Han Fei wondered how Li Gan survived. But since Li Gan could stay in the Heavenly Water Village, he must have done a lot of things in the level 1 fishery. It seemed that he was not stupid. The next day, Han Fei asked for leave from old Jiang and went to the martial arts hall of the fish dragons to cultivate in seclusion. He was even mocked by old Jiang, saying that he was just a kid and that he was going to cultivate in seclusion. But old Jiang didn't know how many secrets Han Fei had. If he knew, he wouldn't have said that. After Han Fei came back, he began to cultivate the indestructible body art for the first time. After all, the cultivation of the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing was a long-term thing, and the effect was definitely not as fast as the indestructible body art. In front of Han Fei, there were 20 bottles of iron fish body polishing fluid and more than 100 mantis shrimp beads. At this moment, Han Fei seemed to have been steamed. He gritted his teeth, and the sweat on his forehead flowed down like water. Shit! This indestructible body art is too fucking domineering. I need to burn my skin with spiritual energy from the inside. Only after one layer is burned can I burn the next layer, repeating 5 times in total. Han Fei was actually shocked. Human skin was indeed divided into 5 layers, namely the stratum corneum, the transparent layer, the granular layer, the spine cell layer, and the basal layer. What the indestructible body art needed was to cultivate these 5 layers of skin to the point that they were almost invulnerable. So this kind of burning behavior had to be carried out countless times. Fortunately, Han Fei discovered the advantage of the mantis shrimp beads. The so-called increase in strength would actually automatically improve the skin. 1 day. 2 days. 5 days. 10 days. Han Fei didn't know how many times he had repeatedly hammered his skin. When he cut his skin with the blade fish dagger and didn't break his skin, he knew that he seemed to have made some progress. At this point, there was no longer a need to continue burning. Instead, there was a need to temper it with spiritual energy. Of course, Ren Tianfei didn't have any spiritual energy at that time. The method he used was a boxing technique, but his boxing technique was not recorded. He also expected that those who obtained his indestructible body would not have no spiritual energy like him, so there were 2 ways to practice this step. Ren Tianfei's method was more difficult, and Han Fei's method required a lot of spiritual energy. However, Ren Tianfen probably didn't expect that Han Fei's spiritual energy storage was unlimited. When Han Fei spent a total of 10,000 points of spiritual energy on skin toughening, the indestructible body reached the initial success level, and it only took Han Fei half an hour to complete this step. If it were someone else, it would take them at least 2 months to accumulate and cultivate 10,000 points of aura, provided that they used all the aura to temper their skin. But accumulating spiritual energy also needed time. Therefore, according to Han Fei's estimation, it would take others at least 3 months to cultivate, but he only needed half an hour. Ha, it's really fucking difficult. This is just skin toughening. How painful is it to temper my body? Thinking of the feeling when his skin was burning, Han Fei suddenly felt uncomfortable. Han Fei cut himself with an ordinary blade fish dagger, only to hear a clang, and the blade fish dagger broke, damn, so awesome. Han Fei was a little dumbfounded himself. Isn't this indestructible body a bit too abnormal? The dagger of the blade fish, which could cut anything in the ordinary fishery, was broken when it was slashed by him. Except for a little pain, there seemed to be nothing wrong. There was only a shallow white mark, which disappeared after he rubbed it. Han Fei took out the mortal-level dagger refined by the demon purification pot and gently cut himself first. After he cut, his skin was intact. Han Fei muttered, "Is it because I didn't use enough strength?" He used 50% of his strength. This time, Han Fei saw an obvious white mark on his skin, but still no blood came out. Well, 70% of my strength. Thud, looking at the blood mark on his arm, Han Fei knew that skin toughening was not omnipotent. After all, the gourd was still a high-quality product. However, Han Fei immediately realized that he could resist 70% of the attack of an expert of the same level without being hurt, provided that the opponent had a mortal-level high-quality weapon. If it was only a blade fish dagger, his arm might have been broken. Ha ha ha. Freak. This is only the initial success of skin toughening. What if I reach the phenomenal success level of skin toughening? The point is that the indestructible body can be cultivated all the time. I can continue to temper when I become a great fishing master, and when I become a dangling fisher. Han Fei finally realized why the indestructible body was so powerful. Even the deduction required 100 million points of spiritual energy. It couldn't be that simple. In 10 days, Han Fei used 7 bottles of iron fish body polishing fluid, 49 mantis shrimp pearls, and more than 16,000 points of spiritual energy. This consumption was huge. If converted into mid-quality pearls, it would be equivalent to hundreds of them. Forget it. It's impossible to reach the phenomenal success level in such a short period of time. I'd better practice the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing to improve the strength of my whole body. After another 7 days, Han Fei found that his upper limit of spiritual energy had been stuck at 599 points. He checked the data. Owner Han Fei, level greater than 13, Junior Fishing Master, spiritual energy greater than 140,006, 599, spiritual heritage level 3, medium quality, upgradable, spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish weapon, purple bamboo rod, main art avoid fishing, chapter 1, hook kiss, mortal level, divine quality. The upgradable status of his spiritual heritage was still gray, unchanged. But the upper limit of spiritual energy seemed to have decreased. Han Fei felt that when he was a fisher, the upper limit of spiritual energy increased very fast. Now it was getting less and less, and on average, it only increased by a dozen points for each minor level. No, there must be a way to continue to increase the upper limit. Since my spiritual heritage and level have been upgraded, there's no reason why the upper limit of spiritual energy can't be increased. Han Fei didn't dwell on this for a long time. After all, in terms of the upper limit of spiritual energy, even peak-level fishing masters might not be as high as him. Han Fei calculated the time. It had already taken him 17 days to practice the indestructible body and the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. Plus the 3 days he had used before, didn't he have less than 10 days left? At this time, Han Fei took out the method of signing a contractual spiritual beast given by the village leader. Ha! Do I have to memorize these words? Yes, the method of signing a contractual spiritual beast was not difficult. It was just a paragraph, to be exact, a formula. Fuse your essence blood, swear with spiritual energy, and brand your divine sea with the sea god's eye. Han Fei frowned. What kind of contract is this? It's a bit strange. Why does it have to be branded in my divine sea? But thinking that the sea god was just a symbol, it didn't seem to be a problem. So Han Fei immediately began to practice. He felt that this should be very fast, and it would only take him an hour to finish it. Just as Han Fei was practicing the spiritual energy oath, the blood in his body suddenly surged. He couldn't draw out his essence blood, and the oath couldn't be branded into his divine sea at all. After trying 5 or 6 times in a row, Han Fei was at a loss. Is this thing difficult to cultivate? If it's so difficult to cultivate, why do I have to go to the level 1 fishery as soon as I become a fishing master? Subconsciously, Han Fei wanted to see if the demon purification pot could solve this problem, but when he looked at it, the word demon purification appeared next to the words demon purification and refining. Demon purification? Han Fei clicked it open curiously, only to find that it required 50,000 points of spiritual energy to activate it. Oh. Robbery? No, wait. Is this related to the failure of signing a contractual spiritual beast given by the village leader? Otherwise, why did the word demon purification appear here? This makes me suspicious. Activate. Whether Han Fei wanted to or not, he had to spend the 50,000 points of spiritual energy, even if he didn't want to now. Since he still had some spiritual energy left, it wouldn't be a problem to activate it. Half an hour later, Han Fei was dumbfounded. The so-called demon purification turned out to fuse demons with other demons and transform them into brand new lives. Shit, what kind of divine skill is this? Han Fei gasped. In this way, wouldn't he be able to fuse demonic fishes indefinitely until he fused a rare or even more advanced demonic fish? And this didn't require any bullshit contract. Han Fei muttered, demon purification pot, could this divine skill be the core function of the demon purification pot? Read 2. Chapter 99. Han Fei walked out of the training hall of the fish dragons. The 2 men who had been guarding outside the door exclaimed, "Young master, have you finished your seclusion?" "Yes. I'm invincible now." The 2 men, one of them said, "Young master, the village leader sent people to come twice during the 10 days of seclusion. He said he would come again today. What do you think? Why are you here? Afraid that I would run away?" One of the men said, "No, the village leader asked you to find him as soon as possible." Han Fei nodded. "Okay, I'll go now." "Hey! Has the fish dragons opened a hot pot restaurant?" When it came to the hot pot restaurant, the 2 men immediately showed a look of fascination and said excitedly, "Young master, it's opened. You don't know how many people went there that day. From noon to late at night, our fish dragon's hot pot restaurant never stopped. All the seats were full, and everyone who had eaten it was full of praise. They even wanted to lick the hot pot soup clean." The other man hurriedly said, "Young master, the turnover of that day has reached this number." As the man spoke, he opened his palm and revealed 5 fingers. 500 mid-quality pearls. The man was shocked. "Young master, you're amazing. Even 500 mid-quality pearls are enough to make our gang go crazy." Smack, Han Fei slapped the man on the head. "Be polite next time. Why did you ask me to guess? What if I guessed 5,000? The man was aggrieved. How could it be 5,000? How much would 5,000 mid-quality pearls be? Han Fei walked out of the fish dragons happily. Seeing the sun outside, he felt refreshed. He was wondering if he should invite the old man and Sister Chin to the hot pot restaurant for hot pot tonight. But he gave up the idea. Neither of them was the kind of person who would join in the fun. They would definitely let him cook at home. The village leader's house. Han Fei greeted, "Grandpa Leader, I'm here." The village leader was reading a piece of paper. Hearing Han Fei come in, he immediately said, "You're finally out of seclusion." "I've mastered the divine art. I'm ready." The village leader nodded. "Yes. I don't know if you've come at the right time. 3 fishing masters will set off with you in an hour." "Huh? Why the rush?" The village chief replied, "I didn't plan to wait for you, but who knew that you would come out on your own? But that's fine too. Since you were able to kill Li Ju, you must have some hidden skills." This time, 3 fishing masters from our Heavenly Water village died in the level 1 fishery. Now we're preparing to reinforce them. Huh? Han Fei was a little shocked. Were the 3 fishing masters killed so easily? The village head looked terrible. "We're under siege. Do you want to go to the plantation and tell old Jiang?" Han Fei pondered for a moment and realized that it was unnecessary to say anything. He had expected old Jiang's reaction. Old Jiang didn't even bat an eyelid. His answer was enough to express his attitude. "Forget it. No need." "But Grandpa Leader, shouldn't you return my fishing boat to me?" The village leader replied, "I was going to use your fishing boat." In fact, the village leader didn't really wait for 2 hours. When Han Fei arrived, the village leader called the 3 of them over and they set off directly. Half an hour later, the 4 of them were already in the sky. Han Fei's white fishing boat was very fast, more than 3 times faster than ordinary fishing boats, and Han Fei knew that Jinjin's white fishing boat was more than 10 times faster than the fishing boats of the Heavenly Water village. At this moment, the one steering the fishing boat was a middle-aged man, and the other 2 people on the boat, a man and a woman, were both young people, both under 25 years old. At this moment, except for the middle-aged man, the other 2 were looking at Han Fei. The woman's eyes lit up. "Wow! Are you Han Fei? A 12-year-old fishing master? You're so cute." "Han Fei?" The girl rubbed Han Fei's head. Han Fei's face suddenly darkened. "Girl, please behave yourself." "Ha! Don't tell me big sister will eat you. This is the first time I've seen a 12-year-old fishing master. You're amazing." The young man was also looking at Han Fei up and down. Seeing Han Fei's helpless expression, he wanted to laugh, but when he thought of the task of this trip, he couldn't laugh anymore. Of course, no one took Han Fei as a weakling. Could a weakling kill Li Ju? Could a weakling kill the tigers in public? How could a weakling kill a fishing master of the fish dragons under the watchful eyes of so many people? The girl rubbed Han Fei's head again and said, "My name is Qin Jia, and this brother is Zhang Peng, and that Uncle Chow is awesome." The middle-aged man looked back and smiled. "Chow Fei, little Han Fei, this is the first time you've come to the level 1 fishery. You must follow us closely. This is a place 10 times more tragic than your fishing trial." Han Fei said, "Uncle, don't worry. I've made great progress recently. I'll beat whoever you want me to beat to death with 3 sticks." Chow Fei chuckled. "Just take it as Chow Fei. You make it sound like you're catching a big yellow fish. Beat a fishing master to death with 3 sticks. Boy, you're still young. Can you change your bad habit of bragging?" Zhang Peng shook his head slightly. He was full of confidence. This kid still hadn't experienced the tragedy of the level 1 fishery. The journey of more than 1,000 kilometers was supposed to take 6 hours, but with Han Fei's fishing boat, it only took them less than 2 hours. When they fell into the level 1 fishery, Qin Jia, and the other 2 were speechless. This was a fishing boat given by an angel. How amazing! Chow Fei said solemnly, "Get ready to fight. Zhang Peng, release the spirit-chasing lobster." Seeing Han Fei was stunned, Qin Jia, smiled at him. The spirit-chasing lobster is Zhang Peng's contractual spiritual beast. It can identify the other party's location according to the other party's spiritual energy. It's rare. Han Fei asked, "It can track Han Fei was a little stunned. Oh my god, fortunately, it's rare. If everyone has one, I'll be chased everywhere if I offend someone in the future. Chao Fei said, tell Han Fei about our combat characteristics and spiritual beasts. Qin Jia's expression became serious. Han Fei, listen up. I'm a junior peak-level fishing master and my spiritual beast is a crayfish, which has strong combat power and defense. After fusion, my combat power barely reaches the intermediate peak level. With that, Qin Jia pointed to Zhang Peng and said, Zhang Peng is also a junior peak-level fishing master and his spiritual beast is a lightning crab. It's extremely fast in combat and has strong attack power. It's also the only spiritual beast with its own combat skills in the level 1 fishery. It can turn spiritual energy into crab pincers and strike at lightning speed, directly crushing the opponent to death, but it consumes a lot of spiritual energy. Zhang Peng is a little stronger than me after fusion with his spiritual beast, but not by much. Han Fei was very surprised. Spiritual beasts have their own skills. They can even turn spiritual energy into big pincers. Are these people's spiritual beasts so excellent? In the end, Qin Jia said, our captain, Chao Fei, is an advanced fishing master, only one step away from the peak. His spiritual beast is a swordfish with strong attack power. If you think you're no match for him, you can run to the captain. If the captain has a master of the same level, then don't go. Then the three of them all looked at Han Fei. Han Fei blinked. Well, Han Fei. Well, I'm a junior peak-level fishing master and my spiritual beast is a spirit-swallowing fish. My combat power will not increase after fusion. Huh? Boy, you're a junior peak level. Chao Fei looked back at Han Fei and was very surprised. Han Fei replied, yes. I'm at the peak. Considering my strength, my combat skills, my reaction speed, my comprehensive combat ability is about the level of an intermediate, peak-level fishing master. Everyone, Qin Jia asked, intermediate peak level. Zhang Peng was stunned. Han Fei, are you sure? Chao Fei said seriously, Han Fei, it's a matter of life and death. Don't joke about it. Han Fei replied, I'm not joking. My strength is very strong. If an intermediate peak-level fishing master stands still and punches me, I can make him vomit 3 liters of blood. Everyone. They were all speechless. Why do you have to add a quantifier to your words? But they also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Han Fei was not a burden. Although they were shocked by Han Fei's strength, they were not in the mood to talk about it at this moment. About half an hour later, Han Fei saw 5 fishing boats chasing in the distance. Chao Fei shouted, enter the battle state and sprint at full speed. At this moment, Han Fei said weakly, Uncle Chao, can you tell who the enemy is? Just drive my boat and hit them. They won't be damaged. Read 2. Chapter 100. When Chao Fei heard that there was such a thing, he immediately drove the boat over. Reinforcements. Someone on those boats shouted, his voice full of excitement. Chao Fei shouted from a distance, little bastards of the Heavenly Sun Village, your Grandpa Chao is here. Not good, retreat. The 5 fishing boats on the opposite side quickly separated. Han Fei saw clearly this time that the 2 fishing boats of the Heavenly Water Village were already in a mess. Only 3 people still had the strength to fight and were guarding the bow of the boat. The other 3 had fallen on the boat the moment Han Fei and the others arrived. And on the other 3 fishing boats of the Heavenly Sun Village, there were 6 people who still had the strength to fight. But at this moment, the 6 people were a little dumbfounded. Where did this white fishing boat come from? Why did it dare to crash into them? Chao Fei shouted, kill! Bam! With a bang, the keel of a fishing boat of the Heavenly Sun Village was directly broken and another fishing boat was sinking. At this moment, the people on the boat had been transferred to the other 2 fishing boats. Everyone was dumbfounded, including the people of the Heavenly Water Village. How could this white fishing boat be so fierce? How could it be so unscathed? At this moment, on the two fishing boats of the Heavenly Water Village, several people shouted, "Go back." In the Heavenly Sun Village, a young man sneered, "Even if you have a few people to support you, so what? Do you think we don't have reinforcements?" People of the Heavenly Water Village, the only people who can really fight now are these four. Oh, there's even a kid. Have you been weaned? Chao Fei ignored this person's words and quickly said, "One for each of us." Zhao Debai, you hold two people back. Let's solve them today. Zhao Debai was the one who asked for help. His face was pale but he still gritted his teeth and said, "Okay." Han Fei frowned. It seemed that they couldn't make it. Zhao Debai and the man and woman beside him seemed to be seriously injured and their hands holding the sticks were shaking. But Chao Fei ignored this and rushed over. Chen Jia shouted, "Fuse." Zhang Peng shouted, "Fuse." Chao Fei shouted, "Fuse." The three of them surged and rushed into the fishing boat of the Heavenly Sun Village in an instant. Bam, 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 an intense battle unfolded in an instant. As soon as they clashed, someone was immediately injured. Han Fei saw that Zhang Peng, who had been relatively calm a moment ago, was actually trading blow for blow. The lightning crab's talent attack turned into a giant pincer that instantly clamped down on one of the enemies, while he himself ignored the fact that his body was pierced by a swordfish phantom and charged forward. Han Fei was shocked. Was this the battle in the level 1 fishery? Risking his life right from the start. At this time, Chao Fei shouted, "Han Fei, hurry up." Hearing this, Han Fei moved his feet, and the purple bamboo rod in his hand rolled with spiritual energy and smashed at one of them. Ha ha ha! Is there no one else in the Heavenly Water Village? They even sent a little kid? Bind! The next moment, Han Fei narrowed his eyes. He seemed to see a giant squid with dozens of flickering tentacles trying to entangle him. And the combat rod in the man's hand also flashed with spiritual energy and collided with Han Fei's. Bang! But this person didn't expect that Han Fei's strength was too strong. He had been fighting for a long time just now. Although he had taken the spirit refilling pill, he had consumed a lot of physical strength. But now he was smashed away by a child with a stick. The young man shouted, "Be careful, this kid is evil. Someone come and help me." Hearing this, the people of the Heavenly Water Village all looked at Han Fei in astonishment. Was this kid stronger than they thought? In particular, the eyes of Zhao Debai and the other two lit up. Zhao Debai sneered, "Little brat from the Heavenly Sun Village, do you think I don't exist? Yeah, fight." Although Han Fei sent this person flying with a rod, he abandoned the rod in the next second. Two knives suddenly appeared in his hands. The two knives were covered with spiritual energy, and he slashed at the void more than a dozen times. Ah! The young man seemed to have received a great deal of damage and hurriedly struggled to get up. But unexpectedly, Han Fei was already in front of him, and the advantages and disadvantages of the rod and the knife were immediately revealed. The long rod in the young man's hand had been rendered useless, and the two knives in Han Fei's hands were flying like butterflies. Bang, 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 in the blink of an eye, there were more than a dozen slashes, and the spiritual energy protective cover on the young man's body was broken. Han Fei felt that a suction cup was trying to suck him. He only had a few seconds, which was enough. Chilla, in just a few seconds, the young man looked at the boy in front of him in horror. In a head-on battle, he found that he had no power to fight back at all. Although he had the strength, he was completely suppressed. Dozens of wounds were left on his body by the two knives, and his whole body was almost covered in blood. "No!" the young man shouted in despair. "How dare you! Zhao Debai, get lost!" Bam! Zhao Debai and the other two were blasted away by a strong shock ripple. Han Fei looked sideways, only to see a sturdy young man coming at him angrily. Han Fei calmly kicked the fishing master of the Heavenly Sun Village into the sea, but his hands and feet didn't stop and he directly rushed at the sturdy young man. Ding Yang, you killed Ding Yang, you damn thief from the Heavenly Water Village. Everyone was surprised. They never expected that the first one to kill Ding Yang turned out to be a little boy, but Zhao Debai and the others blushed. This kid is amazing. How old is he? When did such a monster appear in our village? Clang, 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 Han Fei slashed at the man with the two knives. The man seemed to want to use spiritual energy explosion, but Han Fei was not afraid at all and still slashed at him. With a bang, Han Fei took 5 or 6 steps back, turned the two knives in his hands, and held them firmly in his hands. On the other hand, the man opposite him had 2 long wounds on his chest, bleeding a lot. Just when Han Fei was about to attack, he saw a figure flying towards him. Isn't this Chen Jia? Chen Jia was injured. She vomited blood and said, his spiritual beast is the armored turtle. Zhao Debai, can you still fight him? Zhao Debai smiled bitterly. His spiritual energy had been depleted. Well, I want to say, as Han Fei spoke, Chen Jia had already rushed up again, because the man who was intercepted by Zhao Debai and the others had escaped and went to Zhang Peng. Zhang Peng was already stained with blood, and one more person might not be enough. Han Fei took a breath, and spiritual energy surged out of his hands, and 2 pillars of spiritual energy directly sank into Zhao Debai's body. Shit, Zhao Debai and the other woman were dumbfounded. This young man turned out to be a spirit gatherer. Not only Zhao Debai and the others were dumbfounded, but the people of the Heavenly Sun village were also dumbfounded. Such a young spirit gatherer. Didn't such a talent go to the town? No, it's a spirit gatherer. Kill this young man. The Heavenly Water Village has 1 Tanggu. We can't have another one. However, Zhao Debai roared, who dares to kill the people of the Heavenly Water Village? Do you think I don't exist? Zhao Debai and the injured woman joined the battle, and the situation immediately turned over. As for the remaining person, it was not that Han Fei didn't want to give him spiritual energy, but he didn't have a chance, because the sturdy young man on the opposite side rushed at him like crazy. This young man's spiritual beast was a crab, which had strong defense and attack power. After fusing with his spiritual beast, his combat power was about the same as an intermediate peak-level fishing master. At this moment, he seemed to be stimulated and his momentum was getting stronger. Zhao Debai's face changed slightly and he said to Han Fei, boy, be careful. It's the power of the demonic fish of the ball fish. Han Fei frowned. Could fishing masters repeatedly obtain power from the demonic fish? First, he fused with his spiritual beast, and now he had the power of the demonic fish. If this guy had a contractual spiritual beast, could he attach it to him? Explode. The young man roared and hundreds of needles seemed to burst out in all directions on his body. Han Fei was right in front of him, so of course he had to bear more damage. The sturdy young man sneered. I absorbed the poisonous stings of the ball fish. Is it a surprise? Is it a surprise? Boy from the Heavenly Water Village, go to hell. On the other side, Chao Fei roared furiously and tried to rush over. However, he was forcefully knocked back by a long staff. The people of the Heavenly Water Village all felt their hearts sink at this moment. They knew how terrifying the ball fish was, but this was a 12-year-old spirit gatherer and the hope of the Heavenly Water Village. Was he going to die on his first mission? But in the next second, everyone was stunned. The sturdy young man's eyes widened. Clanging sounds rang out on Han Fei's body for a long time, but the countless ball fish bones formed by his spiritual energy didn't leave any damage on Han Fei's body. Han Fei scratched his head. Have you finished your attack? Then it's my turn, okay, read 2. Chapter 101. Han Fei even scratched his body. Although these spiritual energy thorns couldn't hurt him, he felt a lot of pain. So, in the shocked eyes of Zhao Debai and the others, Han Fei's aura suddenly rose. At this moment, everyone felt that this child was very dangerous, the kind that could kill them in seconds. In fact, the sturdy young man's seemingly strong defense was easily torn apart by Han Fei, and the two daggers flashed back and forth on his body. After a while, the man became a bloody man and fell straight back into the sea with a splash. Chen Jia said, Han Fei, good job, but can you come and help me? Han Fei nodded. Sure. Han Fei, who had just used fury, was still very combat ready. He rushed up and slashed at the opponent. With Han Fei's help, a phantom appeared in front of Chen Jia and blew up the opponent's spiritual energy protective cover with one blow. After half an hour, everyone was panting. Chen Jia leaned against the railing, not wanting to move at all. Her hair had been soaked with sweat and there were 2 puncture wounds on her body. Zhang Peng was even more miserable than Chen Jia. He was lying on the ground and couldn't move. He was the first to be injured, but fortunately, his lightning crab was so powerful that the opponent was almost killed by him alone. As for Chao Fei, he was evenly matched with the leading fishing master of the Heavenly Sun Village. In the end, everyone worked together to kill him. At this moment, everyone laughed. Zhao Debai lay on the boat and said with a smile, "Old Chao, this is a great victory." Everyone looked at Han Fei. They thought Han Fei was just here to make up the numbers. Who could have expected that this child was so strong? He killed 2 fishing masters alone and didn't even have a scratch on his body. Chao Fei said, "Boy Han, thank you." Chen Jia said, "Lovely brother, you're so powerful. When I return to the village, I will take you to eat delicious food." Han Fei rolled his eyes. "I cook all the delicious food in our village. When I return to the village, I can treat you to hot pot." Hot pot. The group of people froze for a long time. They had never heard of it. Zhang Peng asked, "Can we not talk about food first?" Han Fei, give me some spiritual energy. I'm empty. Han Fei didn't mind pouring spiritual energy into Zhang Peng's body. He intended to show his strength as a spirit gatherer. Firstly, he could gain the recognition of these people. Secondly, his occupation would eventually be exposed. Rather than waiting for the future, he might as well do it now. Didn't old Jiang say that spirit gatherers were the team's pet and the object of everyone's protection? Zhang Peng said with difficulty, "Awesome. The feeling of not having to cultivate by myself is just too great." Zhao Debai asked, "Han Fei, can I have some too?" The woman next to Zhao Debai teased, "Old Zhao, you're too much. We're all exhausted now, and the others are seriously injured and lying there." Then the woman smiled at Han Fei. "Brother Han Fei, my name is Chen Ling. If you come to the level 1 fishery in the future, remember to find me." Han Fei said happily, "Then let's form a group in the future. I'm afraid that I'll be beaten to death in the sea if I come alone." Everyone laughed, and then Zhao Debai said, "We have to go quickly. The reinforcements from the Heavenly Sun Village may come at any time. Our current fighting condition is very poor. If another 7 or 8 people come, I'm afraid we'll be left here." Chao Fei, "That's right. Let's return to the village first." "You're going back?" "I haven't caught 500 caddies of spirit-swallowing fish yet." Zhao Debai laughed. "Boy Han, you killed 2 fishing masters. Let alone 500 caddies of spirit-swallowing fish soup, even 5,000 caddies of spirit-swallowing fish soup won't be a lot." They joked and controlled the fishing boat to rise into the air and go back. Han Fei felt like he had come here for a vacation. It had been less than half an hour and he had to fly back. Only half an hour after they left, 5 fishing boats appeared here. Damn it, damn the Heavenly Water Village. How could they kill 10 fishing masters? The village leader will go crazy. Look, this fishing boat was hit directly and is about to sink. The other party seems to have reinforcements. Humph. Search the entire level 1 fishery for the fishing boats of the Heavenly Water Village. I'm going to kill them. In the sky. Zhao Debai asked, "Do you think the people of the Heavenly Sun Village will go crazy? They lost 10 fishing masters this time, right?" Qinjia added, the Heavenly Sun village has always been domineering. I'm afraid they won't accept this loss. Let's be careful next time we come here. Zhang Peng suggested, can we cooperate with the Heavenly Wood village and the Heavenly Rain village next time? I heard that they are also being suppressed by the Heavenly Sun village. Zhao Debai hurriedly said, no. When we fought with the Heavenly Sun village just now, the Heavenly Rain village and the Heavenly Wood village were stopped by the people of the Heavenly Moon village, but they didn't fight with each other. I suspect that they have reached an agreement with each other. Everyone was talking, and Han Fei sighed with emotion as he listened on the side. This was simply an infinite infernal affairs. Who else could they trust if they joined forces and attacked at any time and any place? After everyone calmed down, Han Fei said, everyone, can you help me keep a secret? Don't reveal my identity as a spirit gatherer. If other villages know it, I'm afraid I'll never have a peaceful day in the future. Qiao Fei nodded. Of course, but you have to tell the village leader. After all, you are probably the first spirit gatherer in our village, and it's the first time we've seen the ability of a spirit gatherer. Zhang Peng was excited. Yes. A spirit gatherer is too terrifying. If it's a battle in the level 1 fishery, with the stable spiritual energy support of such a person, we can almost be invincible. Everyone looked at Han Fei, deeply shocked. Is this the power of a spirit gatherer? They had heard how terrifying the spirit gatherer in the town was. Now they finally understood that this was a secret weapon, even more powerful than the armorist of the Wang family. Armorists could fight, but spirit gatherers could provide a steady stream of spiritual energy. Heavenly Water Village. The village leader's eyes almost popped out. How long had they been gone? Less than 5 hours. If it were before, they wouldn't even reach the level 1 fishery in 5 hours. Zhao Debai said, village leader, although the entire Heavenly Sun village was annihilated this time, we also suffered a lot. Li Yu, Yang Dong, and Su Qing died. Zhou Zhou was seriously injured and his contractual spiritual beast died. I'm afraid we won't be able to go to the level 1 fishery in the future. The village leader heaved a long sigh. Forget it. Let's rest for a few more days. The other people in the village have been told to come back quickly. I'm afraid the Heavenly Sun village will go crazy this time. Our people have to come back to recuperate. Then the village leader looked at Han Fei. He knew that Han Fei had mastered the spirit gathering technique last time, but hearing it from Zhao Debai and the others, he was even more amazed. A 12-year-old spirit gatherer was amazing. Even most of the professionals in the town were about 15 years old. And Han Fei had just finished the fishing trial. Was it because old Jiang taught him well? The village leader finally knew why Han Fei stayed in the Heavenly Water Village. He didn't expect that Han Fei really had such a talent as a spirit gatherer. In the evening, Han Fei said that he would hold a feast for Zhao Debai and the others, so they came to the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant. At the entrance of the Hot Pot restaurant, Chen Jia asked, brother, is this the Hot Pot restaurant of your fish dragons? Why are there so many people? Han Fei looked at the crowd in the line and said with a headache, it's mainly because it's too delicious. As the gang leader, no one is here to welcome me. As soon as he said so, Li Gang trotted over with a smile. Young master, didn't you go to the level 1 fishery? Why are you back so soon? I came back as soon as I finished my business, right? Are there any seats upstairs? Yes, yes, yes. The fish dragons have our own shop, so we'll definitely reserve an exclusive private room for you, young master. Huh. You're sensible. As soon as they entered the shop, Zhao Debai, Qin Jia, and the others were stunned. Isn't it too popular? In such a small place, it was packed with people. 7 or 8 people sat at each table. All kinds of bragging and laughter could be heard. Chen Ling, wow. It smells so good. I'm hungry just by smelling it. After a while, a group of people sat in the private room, and Li Gang served them in person. They were all fishing masters. Without Han Fei's order, a whole yellow croaker hot pot was served. At the same time, a barbecue was placed in front of everyone. Chen Jia took a bite of garlic prawns and immediately beamed with joy. Brother Han Fei, even fishing masters can't afford your barbecue. How much does it cost? Han Fei waved his hand. Don't talk about money. How much can it cost? It's only 40 or 50 mid-quality pearls. Suddenly, it was quiet. Qiao Fei glanced at the dense crowd outside and the people in line. Ha! There are so many rich people in our Heavenly Water Village. Read 2. Chapter 102. Rather than saying that Han Fei was holding a welcome dinner for them, it was more accurate to say that they had accepted Han Fei as a talented new member. There were 10 fishing masters present including Han Fei, which meant that Han Fei had officially entered another circle. Chen Jia asked, Brother Han Fei, have you become a spirit gatherer in less than 3 months? It's a pity that you don't go to the town with such talent. Chen Ling also said, Brother Han Fei, can you be a special spirit gatherer in our group from now on? Wow, it's hard to imagine how much our combat effectiveness will be improved with a spirit gatherer in our group. Qiao Fei also said, Han Fei, with your talent as a spirit gatherer, you will definitely have a place in the town now. Are you sure you don't want to go? Only Zhao Debai snorted. It's not necessarily good in the town. They still have to go to the level 1 fishery to gain experience. Han Fei can also gain experience with us. He's no worse than them. Han Fei was surprised. Do the people in the town also go fishing in the level 1 fishery? Zhao Debai nodded. Yes, where else can they go? But we can't offend the people from the town. They are always led by a great fishing master. The only advantage is that they generally don't take the initiative to rob the villagers of prey. Of course, we can't rob them either. Oh. It seems that I made the right choice not to go to the town. The students in the town are too well protected. They are not free and can't fight. Qiao Fei shook his head. If it's fair, the great fishing master will allow them to fight, but you can't kill them. In fact, you can't kill them. Han Fei pondered. It's boring. I have to be watched when I go fishing. Even if I have any ideas, I can't carry them out. While eating, Chen Ling suddenly asked, Han Fei, have you learned the second level of the true spirit fishing art? I really can't figure out how you can grow so fast. Even if you have reached the third level of the true spirit fishing art, there's no reason for you to cultivate so fast, right? Everyone looked at Han Fei. They didn't ask him when they were in the level 1 fishery, but now they all wanted to know. This boy was really amazing. He easily killed 2 fishing masters alone, and one of them used the ball fish skill but didn't hurt Han Fei at all, which made them jealous. Han Fei suddenly realized. Why did I forget to upgrade my cultivation art? He hadn't reached the second level of void fishing yet. He was still using the first level of void fishing. However, under everyone's gaze, Han Fei scratched his head and said, I haven't had time to learn it yet, but the speed of cultivation varies from person to person. There was a problem with the spirit vein test last time, so Grandpa Village Chief retested me. It's third level middle grade. Everyone understood. This made sense. With a level 3 middle grade spiritual pulse, he could definitely develop in the town. Coupled with the resources left by Tanggu, it was understandable that he could reach the peak level of a junior fishing master in a short time. However, most people were still speechless. Even so, wasn't it too fast? Han Fei quickly changed the topic. Well, when will we go to sea again? Qiao Fei added, try not to go to sea this month. The Heavenly Sun Village must be waiting for us. As for Han Fei, you can try fishing in the transition zone between the level 1 fishery and the level 2 fishery. With your current strength, there shouldn't be any problem in the transition zone. In the evening, after the concert, Han Fei immediately went to the village leader. He hadn't reached the second level of true spirit fishing art yet. He had to get the cultivation method first before he could deduce it. The village leader's home. Han Fei greeted, "Grandpa Village Chief." The village leader was surprised. "Han Fei, didn't you go to dinner with Chow Fei and the others? Why are you here?" Han Fei replied, "Grandpa Village Chief, well, I've become a fishing master. But I haven't reached the second level of true spirit fishing art yet. Do you have it?" The village leader was surprised. "Huh? Didn't old Jiang give it to you?" Han Fei frowned. "No." The village leader's face changed slightly. "Didn't this kid practice the second level? That's amazing. How could he cultivate so fast without the second level? He shouldn't have a level 3, mid-quality spiritual heritage. Only those with a level 4 spiritual heritage could have such a cultivation speed." The village leader shouted, "Just wait." Han Fei got the second level of the true spirit fishing art. He skimmed through it and didn't memorize it at all. He didn't care about such a lousy art. When he returned home, Han Fei was dumbfounded. Existing art, true spirit fishing art, incomplete. Level 2, instant hook technique, incomplete. Remarks, the first ancient general art has been incomplete after the passage of time. It will cost 100,000 points of spiritual energy to complete it. Deduced art, avoid fishing. Level 2, hook god technique, degree of completion, 0100000. Han Fei's face turned black. I only spent 1,000 points of spiritual energy to deduce the first level. Now I need 100,000 points of spiritual energy to deduce the second level. But I only have 90,006 points of spiritual energy in total. Han Fei almost cried. Ren Tianfei's treasures were unobtainable. In the blink of an eye, he had become a pauper again. Originally, Han Fei was quite happy, but then his face fell. I can't live like this anymore. Han Fei thought for a full hour. He had consumed too much spiritual energy, and he had only deduced the void fishing art for a while. Then would he need spiritual energy to become an intermediate fishing master in the future? Would he need spiritual energy to fight? Would Little Black and Little White need to be fed with spiritual energy? What if he learned some other arts? Han Fei chuckled. If he cultivated normally, how long would it take him? Should I go treasure hunting again? But Ren Tianfei's treasures are hidden in the level 3 fishery. Wait, there's still one more place I haven't been to. Han Fei quickly turned out Li Ju's fish skin map and looked at the marked points of the undersea grotto. Li Ju hadn't been to this place yet. Should I go there myself? Han Fei left without hesitation. It was unrealistic to go to the level 1 fishery. If he was found alone, he would be hunted down and beaten. As for the mixed area between the ordinary fishery and the level 1 fishery, Han Fei was going to try it, but then he thought that there was still a place in the ordinary fishery that hadn't been explored yet. It should be no problem for him to go there with his current strength, right? Han Fei was full of confidence. He felt that the most dangerous place in the ordinary fishery was the boat burying pit. He didn't think the undersea grotto would be more dangerous than the boat burying pit. Even if it was, he was no longer what he used to be. Now he was a fishing master. At night, the white fishing boat set out. There was wind on the sea, and the wind was whistling. It was rare to encounter such weather in an ordinary fishery. In the surging waves, Han Fei jumped into the sea, and the white fishing boat was directly stored in Forge the Universe by him. Otherwise, no one knew where the fishing boat would be blown to after he came out. With a flash of light between Han Fei's eyebrows, Little Black and Little White were released. Han Fei said, "Little Black, come out to look for food." Little White, on the other hand, rubbed against Han Fei and spat out a mass of pure spiritual energy, which was swallowed by Han Fei in one gulp. No matter how rough the sea was, the bottom of the sea was still the same. At this time, Han Fei didn't need a spiritual energy protective cover at all. Ordinary fish like the snake belts couldn't catch up with him as long as he activated the wandering dragon art. Besides, with Little Black, the foodie, no fish could get close to Han Fei. Han Fei had been diving down about 100 meters, but he hadn't seen the bottom yet. Ha! This place is deeper than other places in the ordinary fishery. Han Fei dove another 100 meters or so before he saw the shadow of some stones below. He dove another 50 meters or so before he reached the bottom. Looking around, there were all rugged rocks, which seemed to be dozens of kilometers away. Han Fei felt the water pressure and found that it didn't cause any problem to him, so he unhurriedly shuttled through this stone forest. It's still a cave marked on the map, which means that there must be a hole here. Only by finding this hole can I find the location. In fact, this hole was not difficult to find. Han Fei found it after searching for a while. There was indeed a big hole. But when he saw this hole, Han Fei hesitated. Should he go in or not? At this moment, Han Fei probably knew why no one had explored this damn place. This hole looked too weird. It seemed to be artificially dug. The hole was round with a diameter of 50 meters. More importantly, the hole was vertical downward. Han Fei could see the rock wall of this hole, which was very smooth. It can't really be man-made, right? This hole seems a bit deep. Should I go in? Read 2. Chapter 103. Do you want to go down? Yes. Han Fei knew very well that in a mysterious place like the ocean, opportunities had to be found. Han Fei fell directly, and some small white shrimps and octopuses fled in panic around him. But the more he went down, the more Han Fei felt, a little excited, and a little nervous. About another 100 meters down, Han Fei saw a concave and convex hexagon. Picture. When Han Fei saw it clearly, he swam up dozens of meters and his face changed. He saw a starfish. Fuck your starfish, and a 50-meter-long hexagonal starfish. Shit, what the hell is this? Han Fei immediately had a guess in his heart. Why didn't Li Ju touch this place? Weird, too fucking weird. There were very few fish around, and the rock wall was not suitable for big green crabs to live in. But in the open space next to the starfish's tentacles, he saw some crab shells. Yes. The seabed grotto is such a special place. The Heaven Village has been here for hundreds of thousands of years. It's impossible that they haven't found this place, but why hasn't anyone come here? Who dares to come here? Such a big starfish. Who dares to come here? Although he was scared, the starfish didn't seem to move. Han Fei descended a little more, and a series of information appeared in his eyes. Name hexagon starfish, weak, level 36 equality a mysterious introduction, a mysterious creature, hexagon starfish, extremely rare. It treasures as much as its life. Because it searches for treasures everywhere, it is called a moving treasure. Its 6 horns can emit strange beams of light, and 6 void gates will appear. You may get an opportunity or die if you enter any of them. Be careful. Contains spiritual energy greater than 4,200 points. Edible effect, inedible collectible and none. Han Fei gasped. A level 36 creature. Are you kidding me? This is an ordinary fishery, not a level 3 fishery, okay? Han Fei's face darkened. No wonder no one dares to explore this place. How can this thing be explored? It's completely beyond the scope of my ability. This was the second mysterious creature Han Fei had seen besides the twin yin-yang spirit-swallowing fish. This kind of thing was basically a legend in the sea. Han Fei shook his head. Forget it. I'll come back to this weird place when I'm strong enough. I'll be dead if I go there now. Moving treasures. I have to be able to afford them. Just when Han Fei was about to leave, he saw Little Black jump out with a swish, heading straight for the hexagon starfish. Han Fei's face changed drastically. Little Black, come back. Han Fei was really worried about Little Black. Are you afraid of nothing and want to see everything? However, when Little Black was about 4 or 5 meters away from the hexagon starfish, the surrounding seawater suddenly trembled, and then Han Fei felt that he was about to pee his pants. Near the center of the hexagon starfish's back, 6 big eyes suddenly opened. Han Fei's blood froze. He was right. Those were the eyes, and they were staring at Little Black. Little Black seemed to be scared by this thing too and stopped swimming. Its 2 small fish eyes stared at the 6 big eyes of the fish. Han Fei felt that there were tens of thousands of ironhead fish galloping in his heart. The 2 mysterious creatures only looked at each other for a while, and then the 6 eyes slowly moved and looked in Han Fei's direction. Han Fei panicked, but facing the hexagon starfish's gaze, Han Fei still raised his hand and waved at it, as if to say that he didn't have any idea at all. "Don't look at me, you're making me scared." However, the hexagon starfish obviously didn't understand Han Fei's meaning. Immediately, purple light burst out from its 6 antennae at the same time and went straight to the top of the grotto. "Little Black, run." Han Fei swam up desperately. As long as he ran away, Little Black could be taken back. At this moment, Han Fei was so focused that he might not even believe it himself. He had mastered the wandering dragon art and swished so fast that he didn't look like a human at all. Bam! He was about to reach the top and Han Fei was about to go out, but in the next second, he hit an invisible wall of nothingness. "It's over. It's over. It's over." "Human? Who's talking?" Han Fei looked around in panic and then looked down, but he couldn't see the hexagon starfish anymore. "Human, come down." This voice appeared directly in Han Fei's mind, and Han Fei immediately responded, "I'm not going down. If you want to go out, there's only one way." "What's the way?" Han Fei was horrified. "No one told me that sea monsters could talk." He could even hear the responses in other people's minds. "Do you want to get the treasure?" "I don't want to." "Hexagon starfish?" Hexagon starfish asked, "Don't you humans all like opportunities?" "I can give you opportunities. Don't bully me because I'm not well educated. Your 6 Paths sect is doomed. I'm just a fishing master." "What level are you?" "Ha! How do you know?" "It seems that you are the one I'm waiting for." "What do you mean?" "Don't fool me. I'm not." Hexagon starfish asked, "Why are you so afraid of death?" "Ha! Those who are not afraid of death are already dead. As long as you are a creature below level 20, I'm not afraid of you. I can fight you with a stick. But brother starfish, look at your level. Is it fun to bully a little fishing master like me?" "Don't worry. Your spiritual beast is my kind. I will really give you an opportunity." "I don't believe it." "Then are you going to suffocate to death at the bottom of the sea?" "I remember you humans need to breathe, right?" Han Fei thought to himself, how does it know this? That's ridiculous. Why is it so familiar with humans? "Master Hexagon Starfish, can you let me go? Then come down. I've given you the opportunity. It's up to you how to choose." Han Fei's face changed several times, as if he had returned to the first question. "Yes." Han Fei came down again with a sad face. He had to come down. Just as the hexagon starfish said, if he didn't come down, he would suffocate to death. Although he could hold it for a long time, he would still die in the end. The purple light was still there, as if forming a large net, completely covering the cave. "I have been here for 300 years. As long as it is possible, I will not give my treasures to you." Han Fei didn't believe it. "Can't you get out?" Hexagon Starfish scoffed, "Do I look like I can get out of here?" "Then why are you here?" The hexagon starfish was silent for a while. 300 years ago, when I was still young, I was caught and brought here. That person set up a restriction array here, and I couldn't escape. He said that he might come back later, or it might not be himself, but his apprentices who came back, and he said that he could release me. Until today, many people have come here, and I think they are all his apprentices. Unfortunately, these people either ran away or were trapped by me and entered my door. What about those people who went in? Did they get the treasures? The hexagon starfish was silent again. Not yet. Han Fei was speechless. What do you mean not yet? Don't you know whether you can get out or not? Well, Master Hexagon, how about we make a deal? When I become a dangling fisher, I will come back to help you out. How about that? I'm just a fishing master, but I don't have the ability. That person left 5 opportunities in my 6 doors. If you are related to that person, you may be able to get them. Then what about the last door? That's my own treasure. If you can let me out, I can give the treasure to you. Master Hexagon, then tell me who that person is first. I will go find him and become his apprentice, and then I will let you out immediately when I come back. This is a more reasonable logic. I can't just let go of the treasure. The hexagon starfish was silent for a while. It seems to make sense. But I don't know what his name is. I only know that he has a beard. Han Fei rolled his eyes. I'll go to the sky to find this person for you. Beard, our village leader still has a beard, Old Jiang also has a beard, Chao Fei also has a beard. It seems that everyone in the world has a beard. I'll find someone to let you out, okay? I know an Old Jiang, who is a very powerful spirit gatherer and can control water. Read 2. Chapter 104. If I let you go, you won't come back, I promise I won't run away. I will definitely come back. The hexagon starfish replied, that person said the same thing, but he has been gone for 300 years. Han Fei cursed the bastard who imprisoned this thing 10,000 times in his heart. Why did you put this thing in an ordinary fishery? Do you think anyone in an ordinary fishery can survive it? Everyone here is a fisherman. Han Fei was silent for a long time. Can I breathe in your door? If I can't breathe, I will die after a long time, and then no one can save you. A bubble suddenly appeared in front of Han Fei, and Han Fei burst into tears. Fuck you. Actually, I just want to run away. If I want to breathe, I can actually go into Forge the Universe to breathe. Why can't I be sensible? However, Han Fei still took a deep breath of the air in the bubble. God knew if he would be able to breathe again in the future. Hexagon Starfish asked, "Are you ready?" "Not yet." "Then wait a little longer." "I've waited for 300 years. 1 or 2 years doesn't matter." Han Fei wanted to beat this thing to death. "Do you want to lock me up for 1 or 2 years?" Han Fei was indeed not mentally prepared, but his fear of the hexagon starfish was gone, so he asked, "Why can you speak in my head? Can all sea monsters over level 30 talk?" "I don't know. I was caught when I just reached adulthood, and I haven't seen anyone else who can talk. The fish and shrimps here are very weak and not enough to be food. In the past 300 years, haven't you encountered any mysterious creatures? Or legendary creatures?" Hexagon Starfish, "No." "What's in your treasure house?" "How about I go to your treasure house first? Let me tell you, I cultivate very fast. If I can make a breakthrough and improve my strength, maybe I can survive." The hexagon starfish was silent again. After a while, it said, "What do you lack? If you can't even survive 1 door, what's the point of giving you the treasure house? If you survive the first gate, I can let you go to my treasure." Han Fei snorted. This hexagon starfish is really bad. It wants me to let it out but doesn't want to give me any treasures. At that time, Han Fei said casually, "I need a lot of spiritual energy, at least 100,000. 200,000 points of spiritual energy." "Yes, do you have any?" "If you have it, I can quickly increase my strength, and then I can enter the door." However, as soon as Han Fei said that, a mass of liquid appeared in front of him, surging with spiritual energy. He seemed to see the spiritual spring in the boat-burying pit. Fuck, is he that rich? Han Fei was dumbfounded. I didn't mean it. Who knew that the blockhead would take it seriously? However, wasn't it a bit too much for this thing to take out so much spirit spring water so casually? Hexagon Starfish asked, "Can I?" Han Fei said helplessly, "Okay." Looking at the spiritual spring in front of him, Han Fei was helpless. "Fine, I'll improve it as much as I can." Otherwise, as a junior peak-level fishing master, he didn't think it was possible for him to come out alive. Han Fei didn't refuse and sat cross-legged on the spiritual spring. Deduce. Under the gaze of the hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes, this mass of spiritual spring water was quickly entering Han Fei's body, causing its curious eyes to shake back and forth. It seemed to be very strange. How could a fishing master absorb so much spiritual energy? It knew that a fishing master couldn't absorb it, so it gave it to him. However, the hexagon starfish didn't take back the spiritual spring. Compared with being trapped here for 300 years, the spiritual spring water was not worth mentioning at all. Spiritual energy flashed on Han Fei's body. He didn't know that the whole sea surface had been set off by strong winds and huge waves, covering thousands of kilometers and reaching hundreds of meters high. This was almost impossible to happen in ordinary fisheries, but now it happened. Unfortunately, Han Fei didn't know it himself. About half an hour later, void fishing was successfully deduced. Existing art, void fishing level 2, hook god technique remarks, the first universal art in ancient times, written by the 9 king level masters in ancient times. When the book was completed, heaven and earth cried with the raging waves. It was the supreme of all arts. Although the art had been deduced successfully, it was not the time to practice it. Besides, cultivation was also for spiritual energy. The spiritual spring in front of him had only been reduced by half. Han Fei decided to practice the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing to see if it could continue to enhance the upper limit of his spiritual energy. If it couldn't, he would make a breakthrough. Before practicing, Han Fei took a look at his data and was surprised to find that there was a change. Owner Han Fei level greater than 13, junior fishing master, spiritual energy greater than 90,006, 629, spiritual heritage level 3, medium quality, upgradable, spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish weapon, purple bamboo rod main art avoid fishing, volume 2, hook god technique, mysterious level, divine quality. Han Fei was stunned. The upper limit of his spiritual energy had been broken, the upgradable function of his spiritual heritage was activated again, and the void fishing had become mysterious level, divine quality. He immediately realized that it was all because of the cultivation art. When he became a fishing master, his cultivation art didn't upgrade, so the upgrade status of his spiritual heritage disappeared. Now that his cultivation art had been upgraded, the upgrade status of his spiritual heritage immediately appeared. In this way, the next time his spiritual heritage couldn't be upgraded, he would have to upgrade his cultivation art. When he saw the change in the upper limit of his spiritual energy, Han Fei immediately began to practice the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. For this reason, Han Fei began to drink the iron fish body polishing fluid. Han Fei's whole body was red as if he was being steamed. After practicing 108 postures, he found that the upper limit of his spiritual energy had become 636 points. Once, twice. At first, every time he practiced 108 postures, the upper limit of his spiritual energy increased by 7 points, but later, when he practiced for the 5th time, it only increased by 4 points. There was less room for improvement. With a thought, Han Fei sat cross-legged again. Upgrade my spiritual heritage. Half an hour later, the hexagon starfish found that the spiritual spring it gave out was all absorbed by Han Fei. At this time, it couldn't calm down. You've absorbed a lot of spiritual energy. Except for the small increase in strength for the first time, your strength hasn't improved much. If this is all, why don't you enter the door first? You don't understand. Do you know what it means to accumulate a lot of spiritual energy? I'm accumulating it now and it's almost done. But it's not enough. I still need 100,000 points of spiritual energy. This time, I really only need this much. If I still haven't made progress, you can give me no spiritual energy. The hexagon starfish was very hesitant. This guy eats spiritual energy too fast. It has been accumulating spiritual energy for a long time, but Han Fei ate a mass of it every now and then. How could this be enough? But after hesitating for a moment, the hexagon starfish still threw out a mass of spiritual spring. This is all I can give you for the time being. After all, in such a place with generally low life potential, it will be very difficult for me to absorb spiritual energy. I still need spiritual energy for my own use. Don't worry. Just wait and see. I won't let you down in a few days. With that, Han Fei began to make his strange postures again. You can only improve your physical strength in this way, but it's not much, but it's really useful. I hope you can really become stronger in a few days. 2 days later, Han Fei took a breath of air into the bubble. His upper limit of spiritual energy was stuck at 699 points and he couldn't continue to improve it, so he stopped cultivating. The hexagon starfish asked, "Are you done? I don't see you using this spiritual energy. I'm going to use it now. Open your 6 big eyes and watch carefully." Breakthrough, that mass of spiritual spring frantically poured into Han Fei's body, and Han Fei's momentum was indeed growing crazily as he said. The hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes kept rolling, seemingly surprised that Han Fei could really improve his strength. He seemed to have made a breakthrough. Han Fei was indeed making a breakthrough. His physical strength was improving and his physique was getting better, especially his skin, which seemed to have become stronger. It wasn't until Han Fei broke through to the peak of an intermediate fishing master and the mass of spiritual spring was almost sucked dry that he slowly stopped. The hexagon starfish asked, "Can you go in now?" Han Fei was infuriated. "You only know how to urge me. Haven't you been waiting for 300 years? What's wrong with waiting a few more days? Don't worry. To ensure that I can save you successfully, I have to cultivate for another 2 days and stabilize my current realm, Red 2. Chapter 105. With that said, Han Fei moved his eyebrows and released Little Black and Little White. Little White swam to the remaining bit of spirit spring water and swallowed it all in one gulp. The hexagon starfish muttered, "Your spiritual beast is about to evolve." Little White swallowed the spiritual spring, and Han Fei secretly said, "Not bad, it's a good thing to take a free benefit." Then Han Fei looked at Little Black, who had flown to the hexagon starfish's tentacles and was biting them with his teeth. "Can you tell your spiritual beast not to bite me? He hasn't reached the juvenile stage yet and can't bite me." Han Fei was also embarrassed. "Why does Little Black eat everything? Now your master is counting on this big starfish to survive. If he wants to bite me, he should wait until he is alive. Little Black, come back." Han Fei took back the 2 fish. Since this hexagon starfish could see Little Black, it meant that its level was very high. And it was a mysterious sea monster, so he had to be careful. If he slapped Little Black to death, who could he turn to? 5 days later, Han Fei practiced the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing 7 or 8 times again and finally raised the upper limit of his spiritual energy to 799 points. Han Fei knew that he might not be able to make another breakthrough in a short time. Even if he stabilized his realm and made another breakthrough, the hexagon starfish wouldn't give him any more spiritual energy. "Okay, open the door." The hexagon starfish was pleasantly surprised. "Am I finally going in?" 6 purple lights spread out like a fishing net, and gradually, 6 purple portals appeared. Han Fei couldn't see inside, so he didn't know what he would encounter. "Master Hexagon Starfish, what's the situation inside your portal? Can you tell me?" The Hexagon Starfish replied, "It's just another space. It's not big." The Hexagon Starfish wouldn't tell him. The point was that it really didn't know. I finally spent nearly 300,000 points of spiritual energy. I can't spend it in vain. Then which portal is the least dangerous? We have to start with the least dangerous one. Otherwise, if I die as soon as I go in, who will come to save you? Let me tell you. In the ordinary fishery, I'm afraid I'll be one of the strongest people you've ever seen. If I die, you'll have to wait for another 100 years for someone as strong as me to come. The hexagon starfish thought it made sense, so it said, the second door on your left. Han Fei took a deep breath. He was ready. The crazy devil's rod, fury, and the fusion of his spiritual beast were ready at any time. With all these, he was much stronger than Li Gang. Han Fei even suspected that he could fight a junior great fishing master. If he couldn't even use this trump card, then he could only blame his bad luck. Phew. Since I can't get out, I'll take a gamble and turn a bicycle into a motorcycle. Han Fei stepped in. The light and shadow changed, and a huge space appeared. Han Fei's blood froze as soon as he came in. This space was the size of a football field, and there were bones everywhere on the ground. Anyone would feel numb. Not human bones. This was swordfish bone. Ironhead fish bone. Giggle. Giggle. At this moment, the bones lying on the ground began to move. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of swordfish bones floated up in the distance. Fuck. Master Hexagon, let me out, hey. Brother Hexagon. Hexagon. Fuck you. There was no door behind Han Fei, but a group of bubbles popped up from time to time, which should be for him to breathe, but the hexagon starfish didn't respond. Han Fei knew that he had been fooled. He was really a big idiot. He knew he couldn't come in. This thing was killing him. At this moment, tens of thousands of swordfish bones and ironhead fish bones here all floated up, and the eyes of these fish bones were glowing with a faint blue light. Shit! Are these fucking ghost fish? Han Fei hurriedly covered his body with a spiritual energy protective cover. He saw that some swordfish bones had already launched a charge at him. Fuck you, when I get out. Without 1,000,000 points of spiritual energy, I won't be able to enter the gate again. Bim, Han Fei swung his rod and hit a swordfish bone. It was not as powerful as he imagined, but the power of the bonefish was not weak, about the same as that of a junior fishing master. If he hadn't become an intermediate fishing master, he might not have been able to suppress it. Bam, 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 Han Fei swung the stick horizontally. He was using the sweeping stick to its fullest, using all the three major elements of chopping, sweeping, and stabbing. And his body made various weird angles to avoid the bonefish that were rushing at him. At first, he could still face dozens of them, but when the dense bonefish rushed at him, Han Fei couldn't dodge them. Clang, clang, clang. Clang, 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 damn. 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 Bam. Bam. Bam, fuck. Han Fei didn't know how many swordfish bones stabbed him, nor how many times he was hit by the ironhead fish bones. In any case, he only knew that he was sent flying and was forcefully knocked into the air. Crazy Devil's Rod, clang, 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 while being stabbed, Han Fei punched and hit with the purple bamboo rod. In just a moment, hundreds of bonefish had been smashed. And Han Fei himself was even worse. Although these swordfish couldn't pierce his body, his muscles were sore because of being poked. The ironhead fish were even more terrifying. When they hit him, Han Fei felt that his internal organs were rolling. But Han Fei couldn't stop. If he didn't fight now, when he was knocked to the ground and couldn't fight back, how could he fight back? This scene was extremely tragic. After an hour, Han Fei's face was bruised and swollen. There was no place on his body that wasn't bruised, and his hand holding the purple bamboo rod was trembling. But what could Han Fei do? He took out a bottle of iron fish body polishing fluid and drank it. Kill. 3 hours later. Han Fei's entire body was sore. Every inch of skin that was poked was burning. It was so painful that he had forgotten the concept of pain. Fortunately, although Han Fei felt that he was about to fall apart, these fish couldn't really pierce him. They couldn't break his defense. On the contrary, his indestructible body was improving at an incredible speed. At this time, his muscles, bones, and internal organs were all under an incredible impact. Han Fei believed that if it were someone else, someone like Li Ju would definitely be killed in less than 5 minutes. What kind of freaking person was he? He had actually held on for a full 6 hours. Han Fei was struggling to hold on. He wanted to fuse with his spiritual beasts, but the fusion of spiritual beasts depended on the occasion. If his spiritual beast was some kind of mutant big turtle, it wouldn't be a big deal, but Little Black and Little White could only improve his attack and sharpness, but they had no advantage in defense at all. If he fused with them, he might have to bite the bones. How uncomfortable would that be? However, looking at the thousands of fish bones on the ground, Han Fei felt a little better. As long as he didn't die, he could try his best. One day later, Han Fei was numb. He didn't care about the impact of these bonefishes at all. His only purpose was to take away a bonefish every time he attacked. 2 days later, the number of bonefish in this space was reduced by more than half. 3 days later, only sporadic bonefish rushed at Han Fei. Han Fei just let them hit him and chopped them off. When the last bonefish was chopped off, Han Fei was instantly ejected out of this space. The hexagon starfish was excited. You survived. You survived. You must be that person's disciple. You must be. In fact, on the first day after entering, Han Fei had guessed that these bonefish seemed to exist specifically to help him cultivate the indestructible body. They couldn't break his defense, but they could stimulate the all-round progress and improvement of his body. It would be strange if this had nothing to do with Ren Tianfei. But Han Fei didn't move at the moment. He lay on the ground and glanced at the hexagon starfish. Give me enough air and let me sleep. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I can still stand when I enter the second gate. Okay, don't worry. Take your time to sleep. Han Fei slept for a day and a night. In his sleep, he felt that his muscles were jumping as if they had been hit by something, and his whole body trembled from time to time. When Han Fei opened his eyes again, he held the air mass and took a deep breath. Let me go to your treasure trove first. I need to see if there's anything suitable for me in it. Only then will I have a better chance to break the second gate. Read 2. Chapter 106. Han Fei didn't want to work for this big starfish stupidly. Since it saw hope, he had to get some benefits, right? The key was that the introduction said that this hexagon starfish was a mysterious creature that treasured treasures as much as its life, so it must value the treasures very much. If he didn't get them now, he would have to wait until he liberated it. At that time, he wouldn't be able to restrain a powerful sea monster. The hexagon starfish was a little resentful. Human, my treasure house has long been emptied by that person. There's nothing good left. If you can enter the other gates first, I can give you some more spirit spring water. Han Fei chuckled. I don't believe you. You are so evil. You want free labor? No way. Han Fei said, Master Hexagon Starfish, I think it's necessary for you to take me to your treasure house. If there is something that can improve my strength, it will greatly help me enter the other gates. Don't forget, I almost died in your first door. I called out to you for 3 days, but you ignored me. There are prohibitions in this gate. Even I don't know what's inside. I don't care. I'm going to see your treasures first. I promise I won't take many things away. The hexagon starfish replied, my treasures are really a bit small. Okay. You can go in, but you can only take 10 things at most. Otherwise, I think I can hold on for another 2 years. Han Fei's face turned black. Sure enough, treasures are treasures. A gate as big as a football field, and you only give me 10 things? Han Fei thought about it. Fine, 10. In any case, there were still 4 more doors at the back. He could take a little first and then bluff the ones at the back. Han Fei said, okay. I'm just going in to see if there is anything that can improve my strength. Among the 6 gates of the hexagon starfish, the purple net on one of them disappeared, revealing a dark, empty gate. Han Fei stepped in. The big starfish didn't have to trick him. After all, it was still waiting for him to let it go. Han Fei felt his eyes light up, and the flashing golden light almost blinded him. Fuck, looking at the mountains of gold and shining stones in front of him, Han Fei couldn't stay calm anymore. Han Fei asked, Master Hexagon Starfish, didn't you say you took away all your treasures? Why are there still so many of them? All the good things have been taken away by that person, but you can't take away the golden stones. You can take something else. You can take 10 of those that don't shine. Han Fei was amused. Why is she the same as the legendary dragons? He only liked to collect shiny things, but what was the use of gold? It was a treasure on Earth, but here, it was just an ordinary piece of metal. The area of this space was also the size of a stadium, and the gold and glittering stones occupied most of the space. Han Fei casually picked up a fist-sized diamond. Is it really a diamond? Hexagon starfish, no. It can glow. This thing is worthless. Except for its good looks, it has no special features. Why do you want it? I like shiny things. Han Fei tossed the diamond into the pile of rocks. He had no interest in these random things. Walking around the stone mountain, Han Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So the good stuff was really taken away. Damn it, what the hell are the rest of them? It was a pile of sticks, probably picked up from the bottom of the sea. However, as his main weapon, Han Fei certainly wouldn't let go of the sticks. Ha! Isn't this He Xiaoyu's bamboo stick? No, it's not as good as my purple bamboo stick. Ha! I've never seen this red stick before. Han Fei's eyes flickered. Red lotus stick, mortal level, mid-quality, made of natural red lotus wood, slightly increases strength when used. Han Fei threw it aside. Mortal level, mid-quality is nothing to me anymore. Han Fei continued to search. Fire bamboo, mortal level, high quality, natural fire bamboo, not polished or refined, will erupt with high temperature when used. Cyan mystic stone, mortal level, high quality, the best material for refining mortal level weapons. Blue jade, mortal level, high quality, long-term wear cannot be afraid of high temperature and cold, can be refined. Han Fei glanced at them one after another. Some he could see and some he couldn't. But they were basically all mortal level materials, which seemed to be useless to him. Ha! And a fishing rod. Black iron rod, mortal level, high quality, made of millennium black iron and blood spider silk, can increase fishing probability. Han Fei was stunned. A mortal level, high quality fishing rod? He thought for a moment. He was only using fine iron fishing rods, which were not even mortal level, so Han Fei took this black iron rod without hesitation. Han Fei continued to search for gold and various gems. He threw away the so-called treasures one by one like throwing garbage. Huh? Purple jade? Han Fei saw the first purple stone and a purple bone, which seemed to grow out of the bone. Purple jade, rare quality spiritual jade, made of the marrow of the purple gold arowana bone, can be refined into a rare quality magic weapon. Han Fei's eyes lit up. This was the first time he had seen a material better than mortal level. He had to keep it. He also glanced at the purple bone. Purple gold arowana bone, rare quality, the bone of the purple gold arowana bone, can be refined into a treasure or ultra-quality magic weapon. Wow, there are 2 of them. It seems that there is something here. Han Fei also found a small black token under the bone. It was black and had the word, prison, written on it. He thought for a while. This kind of thing was probably extraordinary, so he could keep it. Human, all the good things have been taken away. How about I give you 2 golden beads and you come out first? Han Fei chuckled. Is there a problem with my head? What's the use of golden beads? Don't worry. Let me take a look. It took Han Fei half an hour to open the gold mountain. As soon as he opened it, Han Fei's eyelids twitched. There was a big tripod hidden inside. Han Fei immediately smiled. You could have just hidden the treasure under the golden mountain, but you still dug it out for me. This big black tripod was actually not big. It was less than 1 meter high, had 3 feet, and had 3 fish-shaped side pillars on the top. But to Han Fei's surprise, the demon purification pot didn't give any reaction. Forget it. This big starfish is very bad. It must be good stuff since it was hidden so secretly. Han Fei quickly took out the gold, diamonds, and colorful gems in the tripod. The hexagon starfish was anxious. This is just a useless broken pot. I use it to put shiny things. It's okay. I don't mind. I only look for treasures. Ha! When Han Fei took out all the things in the tripod, he found that there was a black bead at the bottom. Han Fei seemed to realize something and immediately said, "This bead is not shiny." "I'll take it." The hexagon starfish said almost at the same time as Han Fei, "That bead was with me when I was born. I can't give it to you. You said I could choose it by myself. I don't want anything else. This bead is just a useless bead." Han Fei thought to himself, "Who are you kidding? First you put a gold mountain on it, then you hid it in the tripod, and then you stuffed other things into the tripod." Ren Tianfen, who robbed this treasure, probably didn't even bother to look through it. Otherwise, this thing probably wouldn't have fallen into his hands. The point was that in his eyes, this bead showed 3 question marks. Han Fei stuck to his principle that all the question marks must be good. "Anyway, I'll take this black bead. It's not shiny. It's like an iron ball. Why do you want it?" "But you promised me 10 things, and I just took the 6th. I don't want the last 4. After a long time, the hexagon starfish responded, "I'll give you something in exchange." "No, this bead is mine. I won't lie to you. This is a black bead, a mysterious object. It's not of much use to you humans, but it can increase the mysterious characteristics of mysterious creatures like us. I have little black." The hexagon starfish replied, "That little black fish's talent is stronger than mine, so this black bead is dispensable to it. If you don't believe me, you can ask it to come out and have a look." Han Fei was puzzled. With a flash between his eyebrows, little black and little white came out. Han Fei put the black bead in front of little black. "Is this good?" Little black stepped forward, circled it several times, spat a few mouthfuls of saliva, and then ran to play with little white. Han Fei thought he had picked up a treasure and couldn't help frowning. "Then what will you give me in exchange?" "I don't want ordinary things." Beside him, a pile of gold and gems suddenly shook, and then a small black seal floated in front of Han Fei. Read 2. Chapter 107. Han Fei reached out and grabbed the little black seal, but as soon as he grabbed it, he knelt on the ground. Fortunately, he let go of it in time, or his hands would have been smashed by this thing. "Fuck. Master Hexagon, why didn't you tell me this thing is so heavy?" The water-stirring seal, ultra-quality magic weapon, is cast from the seabed water-stirring iron. It weighs more than 10,000 kilograms but is as light as a feather after being collected. Water-stirring seal technique, Han Fei was tempted. Compared with this unknown black bead, he thought this little seal was awesome. The key was that it was as light as a feather after being collected. Then if I carry this thing and smash people, Han Fei didn't dare to imagine that scene. Even fishing masters might not be able to withstand it. This thing was simply a divine weapon. With it, he would basically be invincible in the level 1 fishery. Han Fei said, Master Hexagon, I'll leave this little black bead to you. As for the other things in the hexagon starfish's place, Han Fei didn't care about them at all. All the good things had been taken away by Ren Tianfei, and the defective ones were left here. The hexagon starfish was very happy that this guy didn't rob him of his golden treasure. He thought Han Fei was a stupid cultivator, as stupid as that guy 300 years ago. That guy also took away some messy things. He didn't even know what those things were for. Anyway, he just took them away. Han Fei asked, Master Hexagon, how do I take this little seal? I can't carry it. The hexagon starfish only needs a drop of essence blood to refine it. Take it away quickly, take it away quickly. Han Fei seemed to have discovered something and exclaimed, Master Hexagon Starfish, you didn't give it to me because it was too heavy, did you? Seeing that the hexagon starfish didn't speak, Han Fei was even more sure. Yes. The weight of this little seal is as heavy as more than 10 tons of gold. He must have thought it was too heavy, but I didn't. Han Fei quickly dripped a drop of blood on the little seal. After the blood penetrated it, Han Fei seemed to feel something. But what should he do next? The hexagon starfish instructed, nourish it with your own spiritual energy. It will be very fast, just a few dozen seconds. Han Fei was once again sure that this big starfish must dislike this little seal. Otherwise, why would it urge him? A few minutes later, Han Fei walked out of the treasure trove, shaking the seal in his hand. The small seal felt almost nothing in his hand. It was as easy as using his twin knives. Apart from that, the small seal kept growing bigger and smaller. At its largest, it was 10 meters wide, but Han Fei felt that was because he was not strong enough to make it bigger. Get bigger, get smaller, tisk tsk, I don't know if this can kill this big starfish. It shouldn't be possible. After all, it has been carrying this thing for so many years. If it couldn't bear it, it would have been crushed to death long ago. Hee, interesting. While Han Fei was sneering, the hexagon starfish said, Human, shouldn't you go to the second gate? Han Fei pondered for a moment and realized that it made sense. If he encountered those bonefish again, Han Fei would be fearless. Bonefish? Ironhead fish? I'll make them kneel before me with a brick. Han Fei asked, Master Hexagon, will the bonefish in the second gate become stronger again? Let me tell you, if I can't bear it, let me out quickly and let's fight again another day. Don't leave me in there and ignore me. Otherwise, if I die, no one will let you go. The hexagon starfish replied, I can't perceive what's inside the gate. Of course, Han Fei didn't believe it. This big starfish was very naughty. Maybe it was watching the show. Then keep the gate open. If I can't bear it, I'll run out myself. The hexagon starfish replied, if someone goes in, it can't be opened, but you must be that person's disciple. You must be fine. In the past 300 years, no one has survived the first gate. You are the first. Haha, Han Fei took a deep breath and stood at the second gate. It's okay, it's okay. Now my skin, flesh, organs, bones, and marrow have all been strengthened. Although I haven't mastered it yet, it should be no problem. Kill. Holding the water-stirring seal, Han Fei rushed in with all his might. However, the scene in front of him suddenly changed. The whole space was red and he didn't even see a fucking fish bone. But just when Han Fei was puzzled, the red in the water began to boil like spiritual energy, and a large amount of red gas was drilling into Han Fei's body. Ouch! Hot, hot! Itchy, itchy, Master Hexagon, open the gate. Brother Hexagon. Brother Hexagon. Fuck you, Hexagon. Help me, Han Fei almost cried. Where's the bonefish? Fuck you. He felt that he was almost cooked as if being steamed in boiling hot water. His eyes were burning and he couldn't open them. Most importantly, Han Fei felt that the surface of his body was being steamed, while the inside of his body seemed to be expanding. In just a few minutes, there was a rolling heat flow in his body, stimulating his flesh and blood. An hour later, Han Fei felt that his body was no longer his own, and the hot seawater was almost boiling him. He felt that he had grown taller and seemed to have gained weight, and his belly had become bigger. 2 hours later, Han Fei managed to adapt to this damn place, but the torture was still unbearable. It was as if someone was cutting his flesh with a knife, but the flesh didn't feel the pain anymore. Maybe he was used to it, or maybe he had a mental breakdown. Han Fei felt that he was on the verge of a mental breakdown at this moment. What made him collapse was not only this torture, but also that he found that he had gained weight again. 1 day later. If someone could see Han Fei, they would find that a ball appeared in this pale red water. Yes. It was the kind of ball that could be kicked. Han Fei felt that he was going to die, and his body seemed to be about to explode. In his body, there was a mass of explosive energy, which was not even spiritual energy, condensing into a red bead the size of a baby's fist and mixed with his dantian. 2 days later, the red bead was already the size of an adult's fist. Han Fei almost cried. I look like I'm pregnant. No, pregnant women can't be as fat as me. I look like a 999-kilogram fatty. The only thing that made Han Fei feel lucky was that the redness in the water was fading and seemed to become the bead in his belly. 3 days later. Han Fei's ball-like body began to gradually become thinner, but in the end, when Han Fei was ejected from the door, his whole body bounced on the ground 3 times. Han Fei didn't get up, nor did he speak. He just lay on the ground, holding his belly with his hand. If Han Fei was a very handsome teenager before, now he was an ugly obese patient. If he had to use a quantifier to describe him, Han Fei used to be a 99-kilogram thin man, but now he was like a 999-kilogram fatty. The hexagon starfish muttered, "You've become fatter. Go away. I don't want to talk to you. I helped you out of the abyss of suffering, but you just watched me suffer such a huge injury. Doesn't your conscience hurt? Don't you feel guilty? Hexagon starfish. Your body has become stronger, much stronger. I don't want to. I want to lose weight. Look, you are that person's disciple. You survived, which shows that you are very different." Han Fei chuckled. "Do you know that I almost exploded in the door? When I was at my fattest, my belly was thinner than the shell of a small white shrimp. As long as a needle poked me, I would explode." Han Fei was very resentful and had cursed Ren Tianfei more than 10,000 times in his heart. "I just want to look for treasures. Why did you put a level 36 starfish here? Have you ever considered whether I can survive or not? If it were anyone else in the ordinary fishery except for them, they would have exploded a long time ago." Hexagon starfish asked, "What about the 3rd door?" "I'm a fatty. In fact, the larger the body, the stronger you are. I'm a fatty. Do you want to take a day off?" "I'm a fatty." The hexagon starfish was immediately dumbfounded. "Can you just stop nagging? What's wrong with being a fatty? Did I eat your big yellow croaker?" Han Fei replied, "I'm not happy. I'm going to sleep. After sleeping, I'll change back." Then Han Fei kicked the ground, looked up, and muttered, "I'm a fatty red too." Chapter 108. Han Fei realized that the environment in each gate was different. If the bonefish in the first gate devastated him, then the unknown liquid in the second gate made his spirit desperate. Sometimes he even felt that death was a happy thing, but he couldn't die at that time. Han Fei slept for another day. He had been down here for more than 10 days, but he felt as if he had died countless times. "Human, are you going to enter the 3rd gate?" "Master Hexagon Starfish, do you know that you owe me a big favor? I don't want to continue this anymore." The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a moment. "If you can finish the other 2 gates, I can give you some more spiritual spring. Give it to me now." "Are you going to cultivate again?" "No, I have to get the spiritual spring first so that I can feel safe." Sure enough, a massive spiritual spring appeared in front of Han Fei, but it didn't seem to be much. However, Han Fei didn't care. Anyway, he was a fatty now. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. Just like the swallowed spirit soup, he could drink more than 30 bowls. However, unlike the swallowed spirit soup, which was mostly water in the stomach, the spiritual spring water would be converted into spiritual energy and stored. In the end, Han Fei looked at the increase of 50,000 points of spiritual energy and said reluctantly, "Master Hexagon Starfish, your spiritual spring is too little. It's only 50,000 points in total." The Hexagon Starfish almost cried. Is this human a demon? Why is his stomach like a bottomless pit? The Hexagon Starfish scoffed. I have accumulated 300 years of spiritual energy, but you have used up 80 years of it. If you continue to use it, I will die. Han Fei's eyes lit up. What? Does this big guy still have 220 years of spiritual spring left? This news is great. Master Hexagon Starfish, do you really not know what's in the gate? I haven't been able to check these doors since 300 years ago. There seems to be a barrier inside. I'm going to enter the third gate. I'll wait for you outside. I'll thank you, human. I accept your gratitude, so please give me the spiritual spring. You're fine now. Why don't you go in first? Han Fei's eyes flashed and he rushed at the third gate without hesitation. He didn't believe that there was a gate more terrible than the second gate. Maybe he would lose weight when he reached the third gate. Swish, as soon as Han Fei went in, he felt a pain in his butt. He looked back and saw a glowing arrow stuck in his butt. Then he saw the arrow gradually dissipate. Only then did he find that it turned out to be condensed by spiritual energy. Han Fei gritted his teeth and touched his butt with his hand, only to find that his butt was covered with blood. Holy shit, help. I'm really going to kill you this time. Swish. Swish. Swish, Han Fei was dumbfounded. He saw hundreds of glowing arrows shooting at him. Damn you, Ren Tianfei. If I don't die, I'll beat your head up. Ah, at this moment, Han Fei was really in a panic. The first 2 times, it couldn't break his defense, but this time, it was for real. As soon as he was pricked, he immediately bled. I'll flash, I'll flash. I'll flash, ah. I'll flash, ah. Unfortunately, he was no longer the skinny man he was half a month ago. Now, with his fat body, he felt like he was suffering every time he completed an unconventional evasive move. Ren Tianfei, I wish you will be beaten up by your enemies. Ow! Fortunately, there seemed to be only 100 or so arrows of light, and every time they hit him, their power would decrease. 3 days later. When there were only about 30 light arrows left, Han Fei stopped moving and allowed the arrows to pierce through his skin. He would not bleed much now. However, Han Fei found a good way to lose weight. He could lose weight by bleeding a little. He felt that he had lost at least 20 kilograms. When Han Fei flew out of the door, he was covered in blood. Han Fei vomited blood. Master Hexagon Starfish, hurry, hurry. Spiritual spring, I feel like I'm dying. Give me the spiritual spring. However, the Hexagon Starfish froze for a moment. Your breath is very strong. I feel that your vitality is stronger than mine. Han Fei cursed in his heart and said weakly, No, my internal organs are rolling. Do you know what's in the door? Is it really going to kill me this time? I'm covered in blood. Are you kidding me? Your internal organs don't seem to be displaced, what do you know? My internal organs are shaking. I feel that I've hurt my origin and my soul is about to die out. This matter is very serious. Without 100,000 points of spiritual spring, I can't get up. Luckily, the Hexagon Starfish didn't know how to curse. If he had been in contact with human beings for a few days and learned how to curse, he would have cursed aloud. Why did he meet such a shameless guy? Can't you be more convincing? I've seen through you, okay? I don't have much spiritual spring left. Nonsense, you still have 220 years left. But I've been consuming it in the past 300 years. I've already given you half. I don't care. Without 100,000 points of spiritual spring, I don't think I can survive the fourth door. Master Hexagon Starfish, look at me. I've become a fatty for you. Doesn't your conscience hurt? Starfish don't have hearts. I can't feel the kind of pain you said. Han Fei's face turned black. Are you going to give it to me or not? The Hexagon Starfish was helpless. In the end, a mass of spiritual spring floated in front of Han Fei, but Han Fei bounced up from the ground and swallowed it. After a while, Han Fei complained, Master Hexagon Starfish, why are there only 50,000 points? Where are the other 50,000 points? The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a while. Although I don't have a heart, I feel that my 6 tentacles are restless and a little out of control. This time it was Han Fei's turn to be taken aback. He quickly said, you have to learn to control yourself. Violence can't solve any problem. We humans are all about reasoning. However, in the next moment, Han Fei saw that 4 tentacles of the big starfish began to rise. Han Fei shouted, Master Hexagon Starfish, I think it's more urgent to help you lift the barrier. In order for you to leave as soon as possible, I'll enter the 4th door first. Han Fei slipped into the 4th door with a swish. At this moment, his heart was still pounding. No. The strong can play by the rules. I have to become strong as soon as possible. Yes, this bad starfish has cultivated for 300 years and only reached level 36. It's too slow. His talent must be very poor. Give me a few years, and I'll be able to cut off your claws and roast them. Ha! There seems to be no danger in this door. Is the danger over? No, there is danger. Biem, Han Fei felt as if he had been hit by a mountain. Why was it so familiar? With a bang, he was sent flying. Who the fuck attacked me? In the air, Han Fei looked back and exclaimed, because he saw a large mantis shrimp again. Name a mutant mantis shrimp king, level 20 equality, exotic. It contains spiritual energy greater than 1,200 points. Edible effect, the meat is extremely delicious and can strengthen the body. Edible effect, a mutant mantis shrimp beads can greatly enhance the body's strength. Collectible mantis shrimp beads. Han Fei broke out in a cold sweat. Last time, he had just killed a mantis shrimp king, which was only level 18. But what level was this mantis shrimp king? Little Black, come out and protect me. Han Fei called out a few times and tried to think, but there was no response. No, I can't summon it. Bam! The mantis shrimp king suddenly rushed in front of him and hit Han Fei's stomach with a hammer, knocking Han Fei hundreds of meters away. Han Fei stretched out his hand and took out the water-stirring seal. Although he didn't know what method this space used to isolate the connection with his spiritual beast, the demon purification pot didn't seem to be restricted by this. He decided to knock it to death. Aren't your fists powerful? Let's see which is more powerful, your fists or my water-stirring seal. Huh? No. It didn't break my defense. Han Fei patted his round belly. In theory, few creatures in the level 1 fishery could resist the blow of the mantis shrimp king, not even the armored turtle, unless it was the legendary rock-holding turtle. But when it hit his belly, it didn't break his defense. Han Fei blinked a few times and immediately took the water-stirring seal back into the demon purification universe. He clenched his fists. It's just a shrimp. I want to eat mantis shrimp today. Read 2. Chapter 109. Han Fei threw the purple bamboo rod aside, activated the wandering dragon art, and rushed up and punched. Bam! However, Han Fei still underestimated the speed of the mantis shrimp king's punches and was punched more than a dozen times on the ground. Wow! You're faster than me. If I hadn't become a fatty, I would have beaten you up in minutes. Bam, 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 a man and a shrimp were fighting. Of course, at first, Han Fei was sent flying more often. But he knew more than 100 weird movements at a time. When he practiced the incomplete ways of 108 ways of body polishing, Han Fei knew that his dodging ability had been strengthened. He was no longer limited to 108 postures but could do any complicated posture. So only an hour later, the Mantis Shrimp King could no longer send Han Fei flying. Han Fei was quite proud. Mantis Shrimp, your punches are so fast that even ghosts can't see them clearly. At this moment, Han Fei punched the Mantis Shrimp King's extended forelimb, and the Mantis Shrimp's 5-meter-long head was smashed and rolled several times. Are you convinced? Call me Dad. The Mantis Shrimp King seemed to be furious and rushed at Han Fei with its 6 short legs. However, Han Fei turned around and rolled on the shrimp's head. Thud, 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 Han Fei didn't know how many punches he had made. Anyway, he felt a little pain in his hands, but the Mantis Shrimp King's shell didn't even break. Han Fei immediately took out 2 daggers and stabbed it hard, but it was still useless. In the end, he took out the water-stirring seal and pressed the Mantis Shrimp King to the ground. Putting away the water-stirring seal, Han Fei walked slowly to the Mantis Shrimp. Are you convinced now? It's a pity that I can't make a fire in the water. Otherwise, I would stew you now. Huh? Wait. Han Fei suddenly realized that he seemed to have turned on the demon refinement function. This mutant Mantis Shrimp King was an exotic creature. Did it mean that he could fuse with this monster? As soon as Han Fei thought of this, the gourd on his wrist glowed, and a huge Mantis Shrimp King disappeared in front of him. Han Fei quickly looked at the demon refinement function and found that a mantis shrimp was placed on it. Unfortunately, there was only one, which didn't seem to meet the fusion conditions. That's strange. You absorbed it. Shouldn't you be my pet? How did it turn into a picture? Han Fei scratched his head, picked up the stick, and walked slowly to the exit. No, I can't go out like this. A few minutes later, the hexagon starfish saw a bloody hand stretching out of the door. The hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes moved back and forth. Is this human really seriously injured this time? After a while, Han Fei's 2 hands and a head stretched out, both dripping with blood. Mr. Hexagon Starfish, help me. I feel like I'm dying. The hexagon starfish asked, why is your skin gone? There is a great horror inside. Hurry up, give me the spiritual spring. The hexagon starfish had never seen such a scene before. Han Fei looked like he was seriously injured this time, and this time, he only went in for 2 hours. Could it be that there was something different behind this door? After a while, Han Fei crawled out of the hole, covered in blood. At this time, a massive spiritual spring floated above Han Fei's head. The hexagon starfish didn't want Han Fei to die. 4 gates had been broken and there was only one left. If Han Fei died at this time, wouldn't the spiritual spring that he had accumulated for hundreds of years be wasted? The point was that the seal hadn't been broken yet. Han Fei sucked the spiritual spring in big mouthfuls. With every breath, the skin on his body grew a little again, and his bloody body was recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. It wasn't until the whole mass of spiritual spring was sucked up by him that the injuries on his body were mostly healed. Han Fei looked at his 240,000 points of spiritual energy and thought to himself, this big starfish is really generous this time. He actually gave me 100,000 points. But on the surface, Han Fei finally got up from outside the door, staggering as if he could fall at any time. Mr. Hexagon Starfish, I feel that the last gate is a bit difficult. I'm afraid I can't pass it. Human, don't worry. I can wait. But I can't wait. I have hundreds of subordinates waiting for me to go back. Their children are crying piteously, and their parents are waiting for them to support them. If I don't go back, they will all die. The hexagon starfish was silent for a while. How about I let you go to my treasure house again? Han Fei suddenly laughed. I've been robbed. Is that a treasure house? It's called a garbage dump. Mr. Hexagon Starfish, I think if you can give me another 100,000 points of spiritual spring and let me recover to my peak, maybe I can still fight. The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a moment. Human, did you cause the injuries on your body? Han Fei was shocked. Can this guy see what's going on inside the gate? Did he discover that I'm cultivating the indestructible body art? No, if he found out, why would he give me 100,000 points of spiritual spring? Han Fei looked sad and indignant. How dare you doubt me? I worked so hard for you. How dare you doubt me? Do you know what's in the gate? 300 big fish that can spit fire. Look at my skin. It's all burned up. Just think about it. What will happen if your skin is gone? The Hexagon Starfish scoffed, but the spiritual spring you want is too much. In just a few days, you've used up my 100 years of savings. How can a human need so much spiritual spring? I'm not an ordinary person. Let me tell you, there is a 10,000-year-old grandpa hidden in my body. Do you think I want so much spiritual energy for myself? No, I borrowed his power to walk through the 4 gates in a row. Do you think a few 100,000 points of spiritual spring is a lot to ask for a 10,000-year-old antique? Looking at Han Fei's sincere and sad expression, the Hexagon Starfish thought for a while. There seems to be something in your body. Otherwise, with your physical strength, you can't even bear a few thousand points of spiritual spring, let alone hundreds of thousands of points. But can I see the one in your body? He is in my soul. How can I show him to you? If you can give me 150,000 points of spiritual spring, then I can show you his power. Han Fei staggered as if he would fall at any time. Give it to me, I'll be fine. I'll show you fury then. However, in the end, a large mass of spiritual spring floated above Han Fei's head again. That's all I have. I can't give you the rest. Otherwise, even if I go out, I will be killed by other mysterious or legendary creatures. Han Fei didn't mind. So be it. I'll eat these 100,000 points first. After a while, Han Fei looked at his data again. Owner Han Fei, level greater than 16, intermediate fishing master, spiritual energy greater than 340,006, 799, spiritual heritage level 3, high quality, upgradable, spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish weapon, a purple bamboo rod, main art avoid fishing, volume 2, hook god, mysterious level, divine quality. Han Fei estimated that he couldn't get any more spiritual spring, but he had to put on a good show. He quickly sat cross-legged, only to see that his skin grew back again, and after a while, he was as good as before. Han Fei twisted his head, making a clicking sound, and his momentum suddenly erupted. Then he exclaimed, "It feels so good to have a spiritual spring. Master Hexagon, my injuries have healed. I'm going in." The Hexagon Starfish asked, "Don't you need to cultivate? Judging from your situation just now, the last gate may be very difficult." Han Fei said seriously, "Master Hexagon, don't worry. I'm a kind-hearted person. I can't bear to see you suffer in this sea of suffering for more than 300 years, so I'm going now. Wait for me." The Hexagon Starfish's 6 big eyes flickered. Is this human really a kind-hearted person? I feel something is wrong. But Han Fei entered the 5th and last gate without hesitation with his rod. As soon as he entered the gate, Han Fei took a defensive posture and immediately looked back, only to find that there was nothing. Even the seawater was no different from ordinary seawater. From a distance, he saw a stone table in the middle of this space. Ha! It can't be. Is that damn Ren Tianfei so kind-hearted? Is there no danger in this gate? Han Fei tentatively walked towards the stone table step by step. After a while, he found that there was really no danger, so he walked over quickly. There were a few pages of paper on the stone table, as well as 2 stones, one black and one purple. Han Fei looked down, only to see the words, "For my disciple," written on the paper. Fuck off. You want to be my master? What the fuck? You almost tortured me to death. How dare you be my master? Read 2. Chapter 110. Damn it, when I become stronger, I will definitely find you and beat you up. Han Fei still opened those pieces of paper. He wanted to see what this guy would say. It read. Ha! You didn't die. Han Fei felt a headache coming on. What? Do you think I will die? The letter read, "My good disciple, if you can read this letter, I will be very emotional. I really can't imagine that someone in such a shabby village can fight his way into the mantis shrimp cave, survive, and successfully practice my indestructible body. Of course, what I didn't expect was that you actually dared to challenge the 6 gates of the hexagon starfish. Such courage is commendable. Ordinary people would have run away a long time ago. You are indeed my disciple." Han Fei chuckled. Ha, do you think I care? I didn't admit it. I will beat you up sooner or later. Han Fei continued to read. Yes, these 6 gates are full of opportunities left for you by me. Only the first 2 gates are tests of life and death. Once you pass the first 2 gates, the last 2 gates are just basic tests of strength. Since my disciple has made it this far, it means that not only do you have talent, but you also have great courage. However, you are still too weak now, so I won't leave you too many opportunities. Only when you officially step onto the path of seeking Tao in this world will opportunities become meaningful to you. As for when you can embark on the path of seeking Tao, I don't know yet, but if you can get the treasures I left in the level 3 fishery, it means that you have officially joined the path of seeking Tao. By the way, if you haven't mastered the indestructible body, don't go to the treasures in the level 3 fishery even if you become a dangling fisher. Otherwise, you will definitely die. Seeing this, Han Fei gnashed his teeth in anger. Fuck. If I didn't come to this seabed grotto, wouldn't I be dead? You didn't say it in the boat burying pit. Why did you say it here? Disciple, the opportunities here are just for you to lay the foundation. Oh. You should have become a big fatty. It's okay, this is only temporary. As long as you practice hard, you will lose weight in 8 or 10 years. The power I left in your body should be enough for you to succeed. But remember, when cultivating the Starlight Immortal body, you have to learn other body refining techniques, so you can't let others see through it. Although there weren't many people in the city that could see through it, if you were to be seen through, you would face a great calamity. Also, Master will tell you again, don't ever mention Master's name. Alright, that's all I have to say. Disciple, how far you can go will depend on yourself. As for this hexagon starfish, it has been suppressed by me for many years. It's time to let it go. Crushing the black stone on the table could unlock the restriction here. There is a drop of hexagon starfish's life essence blood in the white stone. If it wants to harm you, you can easily kill it by crushing it. With your current strength, you should be able to kill it. Han Fei's eyes lit up. Wow, good stuff is here. No, wait a minute. The big starfish looks quite pitiful. Would it be bad if I take the 100-year spiritual spring from it? Let's knock for 50 years first. Thinking of this, Han Fei walked out happily. This time, he didn't care about anyone at all. Seeing Han Fei coming out of the door, the hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes rolled quickly. Has the restriction been unlocked? No, it hasn't been unlocked yet. I can't get out yet. Is there no way to unlock the restriction inside? Han Fei was holding a black stone in his left hand and a white stone in his right hand, looking left and right. The hexagon starfish panicked. Human, what are you doing? Human, I can give you treasures. Tisk, TSK, Master Hexagon Starfish, I went through hardships and dangers to unlock the seal for you. Look, I sacrificed myself. I used to be so handsome, but look at me now, I've become a fatty. This has seriously traumatized my heart. Don't you have anything to say? I can give you treasures. A gentleman doesn't take what others like. Am I the kind of person who likes treasures? I won't. A gentleman loves money, but he should earn it in a proper way. You can keep the treasures for yourself. But, Master Hexagon Starfish, how about the 100-year spiritual spring? If you give it to me, I'll crush this black stone immediately and unlock the restriction for you. The Hexagon Starfish exclaimed, the great sea god. I don't have the 100-year spiritual spring anymore. I only have the 50-year spiritual spring left. This is my life-saving spiritual spring. I can give you treasures. Han Fei looked incredulous. I told you just now, am I that kind of greedy person? Okay, I won't embarrass you. Give me the 50-year spiritual spring and I'll let you go. 10 years, I can only give you 10 more years at most. Otherwise, I will be eaten when I go out, 40 years. As a mysterious creature, I believe you have the means to save your life. Human, at most 20 years. You are depriving me of the chance to survive. Then I'll give you a chance to survive. 30 years, no less. It's a deal. The Hexagon Starfish muttered, 25 years, this is my limit. Han Fei was silent for a while, 35 years, this is my limit. Hexagon Starfish. The big starfish really wanted to slap Han Fei. Why doesn't this guy play by the rules? Shouldn't you think 25 years is a reasonable number? Why the fuck did you add another 5 years? Human, you win. 30 years, I'll give it to you. Let me go. 35 years, this is my limit. If it weren't for the sea, the Hexagon Starfish would have shed tears of regret at this time. What did I do? Why did I have to meet this demon? I'm bullying this starfish. Hexagon Starfish asked, will you really let me go? Of course, I swear in the name of the sea god, I will. A large mass of spiritual spring appeared in front of Han Fei's eyes, which made him smile so much. Human, can you fulfill your promise now? Han Fei waved his hand and the large mass of spiritual spring disappeared, which made the Hexagon Starfish's 6 eyes shrink at the same time. This guy actually has a spatial secret treasure. This is too much, Kacha. Han Fei pinched the black stone and smiled. Master Hexagon, the sea is endless. Let's, turbid dust rose from the big pit in an instant, and Han Fei saw the huge starfish instantly shrink into a palm-sized starfish and disappear with a swish. Han Fei, at the same time, the Hexagon Starfish said to him via voice transmission, evil human, I will never meet you again, never. Han Fei froze. I haven't finished speaking yet. Why are you running so fast? Damn, I can't keep up with this speed at all. No wonder it's a level 36 mysterious creature. Han Fei, on the other hand, was not in a hurry at all. He lay in the water and slowly absorbed the spiritual spring. About half an hour later, Han Fei looked at his 690,006 spiritual energy value and beamed with joy. I'm rich. Sure enough, treasure hunting is the fastest way to make money in this world. But when Han Fei looked down and saw his ball-like figure, the smile on his face suddenly froze. Damn Ren Tianfei, I'm not done with you. Han Fei could almost imagine that when he returned to the angel village like this, he would definitely become the biggest topic of conversation among the villagers. On the sea, in the evening, many people put away their fishing poles and went home. A white fishing boat suddenly appeared, and a fat man, with a sad face, held his chin with one hand and controlled the fishing boat to fly to the floating island with the other. The fish dragons. Han Fei wanted to put his hands behind his back, trying to make himself look like a gang leader, but he couldn't put his hands together. His face darkened. Stop, fatty. The fish dragons are an important place. Unauthorized people are not allowed to trespass. Han Fei suddenly raised his head. Who are you calling fatty? Say it again. The man sneered. Fatty, it's not your fault that you're fat, but it's your fault that you want to show off. Do you know who our gang leader is? Our gang leader. Bim, the man was sent flying out. How dare you break into the fish dragons? Call someone, read 2. Chapter 111. Han Fei was quickly surrounded by a group of members of the fish dragons, but everyone looked vigilant. This fatty gave them a strong feeling. Han Fei cursed, "You bastards, don't you know who I am?" A gang member shouted, "No matter who you are, you can't behave atrociously in our fish dragon's territory. Besides, we don't have such a fat person like you in the Heavenly Water Village. Tell me, are you a spy from another village?" Han Fei tried hard to pull the fat off his face. Do you see it now? Well, many people were dumbfounded. They seemed to have discovered something terrifying. Gang leader? Han Fei asked, "Did you just see it? Are you going to rebel?" Fuck, boss. How did you become like this? Young master, what have you been through? After a while, Li Gan, Li Gang, and Li Qing all came back. At the first sight of Han Fei, they couldn't believe their eyes. Li Gang even stuck out his belly and patted it with his hand. He thought to himself, "I can't compare, I'm really too skinny." Han Fei pointed at Li Gang angrily. "Li Gang, hold your belly back." "Li Gang?" Han Fei asked, "Did anyone look for me during the half a month I was away?" "Young master, the village leader looked for you, and the people who went to our hot pot restaurant last time also looked for you. But they all thought you went to the mixed area of the level 1 fishery and the level 2 fishery to cultivate." Han Fei asked, "Didn't anyone think it was inappropriate for me to stay at sea for half a month?" Li Gang scratched his head and said, "Well, 2 female fishing masters said there was no place in the mixed area that you couldn't go to." Han Fei didn't want to talk. He waved his hand. "Okay, go about your own business. I have to go to the plantation." It was already late. Han Fei had to hurry up and ask old Jiang for help. Perhaps only he could help him lose weight in the entire Heavenly Water Village. In the plantation, old Jiang and Jiang Qin had just finished cooking. Jiang Qin brought back a bunch of barbecue from the barbecue stall. Old Jiang seemed to have fallen in love with hot pot and was fiddling with it. Old Jiang frowned. "Why is my food not as delicious as that boy's?" Jiang Qin said, "It may be his talent." Old Jiang muttered, "I don't know where that damn little bastard went. Does he think he's invincible? He even went out to practice alone. Come on, let's eat." Before old Jiang had drunk 3 glasses of wine and Jiang Qin had only eaten a small piece of the roasted clam in her hand, they saw a ball come in. "Hey! Fatty, who are you? Why are you running inside?" "Old man, help!" Pft, cough cough, cough cough cough, old Jiang suddenly spat out a mouthful of wine, and Jiang Qin choked directly. Their eyes almost popped out. What the hell is this? Why is it Han Fei's voice? Han Fei ran over, and the ground trembled with every step he took. Old Jiang gasped. "Boy Han." Old Jiang asked, "Can't you recognize me? Does the old man have a way to help me lose weight?" "You must have it, right?" Jiang Qin looked incredulous. "Han Fei, how did you become a big fatty?" Old Jiang asked, "Is this a fatty?" "This is clearly a ball." "No, Han Fei, how did you become like this?" Han Fei had already come up with a lie. "I was cultivating in the mixed zone, but I realized that fishing was no longer enough for me. So I went into the water. It was really dangerous in the water. I was chased by fish, so I had to run to places with fewer people. Then I swam into an undersea cave, and suddenly the water in this cave turned red. I felt like I was roasted. When I woke up, I became like this. Grandpa, can I still be saved?" Jiang Qin narrowed her eyes. "Undersea cave? Old Jiang also narrowed his eyes. Red seawater? Han Fei replied, yes. The red silk jumped into my body like spiritual energy. Old Jiang asked, then how do you feel? Is there anything wrong with your body? Han Fei thought to himself, this old man really knows, so he hurriedly said, Grandpa, there is a ball in my dantian, which has mixed with my spiritual energy. Jiang Qin was still at a loss, but old Jiang took a deep breath and murmured, impossible. How could candle dragon blood appear in this place? Han Fei looked flustered. Grandpa, what is candle dragon blood? Old Jiang's face was slightly serious. This is just a rumor, and I have never seen it. But according to your description, there should be a drop of candle dragon blood in that place, and you accidentally absorbed it. No, if it was really candle dragon blood, you should have exploded a long time ago. Why did you only become a fatty? Han Fei. Han Fei's heart skipped a beat. Did I really explode? He also felt that he was about to explode at that time, but he survived in the end. Old Jiang instructed, Qin, punch him in the stomach with the strength of a junior great fishing master. Huh? Bim, Han Fei rolled on the ground 7 or 8 times, then stood up 10 meters away and scratched his head. Grandpa, why did you ask Sister Qin to hit me? But Jiang Qin was stunned. How did your body become so strong? Is it strong? It seems to be stronger. Jiang Qin, old Jiang's eyes flickered. It seems that you will continue to be fat for a while, right? What? Han Fei asked, Grandpa, do you really have no other way? How can I go out and meet people like this? Old Jiang sneered. So what? Don't be greedy. If being fat can make a fishing master's body so strong, I swear that the entire heavenly water village will be full of fatties. But how long will it take for me to lose weight? Old Jiang added, there is a huge backlog of energy in your body. When this energy is consumed, you will lose weight. Han Fei's eyes lit up. How can I consume it? The old master, Every time you break through a realm, the more energy your body can bear, the more energy will be consumed. So, when you make a breakthrough, you will lose weight. As for the specific realm you will lose weight, I guess when you break through to a peak-level great fishing master, you may lose more than half of your weight, right? What? Han Fei was speechless. Will I lose more than half of my weight when I become a peak-level great fishing master? But I'm still a fatty after losing more than half of my weight. Old Jiang clicked his tongue. If you continue to be a soul warrior, maybe you will lose a little more weight. Han Fei immediately turned to look at Jiang Qin. Sister Qin, can I continue to study? Of course, but from now on, you have to stay in the plantation for at least 20 days a month. If you have made up your mind, you'd better go to the level 1 fishery to complete the task tomorrow and then come back quickly, so that you can spend the next month in the plantation. Han Fei scratched his belly. Okay, then let's eat first. Old Jiang was furious. You are so fat. Why do you still want to eat? Han Fei said matter-of-factly, I haven't eaten for half a month. A hot pot meal shouldn't make me gain more than 1 kilogram. Yes, Han Fei now had a tendency to give up. It seemed that he couldn't lose weight in a short time, so he decided to turn his grief and anger into appetite. On the 3rd day, at the village leader's home. Puff. Are you Han Fei? Han Fei retold the story helplessly and the village leader exclaimed, Oh my God. This is a gift from Sea God to you. Han Fei, you are so lucky. In the past 100 years, except for Tanggu, no one has been as lucky as you in our heavenly water village. Han Fei chuckled. Grandpa leader, can you not be so dramatic? I want to ask Uncle Chow Fei where they are. I want to ask them to go to the level 1 fishery. Oh. They set off the day before yesterday. But Qin Jia, and Qin Ling didn't go. You can go to them. Han Fei asked, can I not ask girls out? Don't worry. Even if you are not so fat, you are only 12 years old. They won't be interested in you. Han Fei, read 2. Chapter 112. When Chen Jia, and Chen Ling recognized that the fat man in front of them was Han Fei, they were shocked. Chen Jia, asked, "Are you really Han Fei? Don't lie to me." "Wow. Brother Han Fei, how much do you weigh now? Do you weigh 250 kilograms? Han Fei felt hopeless. In fact, he weighed more than 250 kilograms. Because the more he cultivated, the heavier he would be. Even Han Fei, who looked thin and weak before, actually weighed more than 200 kilograms when he became a fishing master. Now God only knew how much he weighed. Anyway, he didn't want to weigh himself. Han Fei shouted, "Enough. You women are so superficial. You always like to laugh at other people's shortcomings. You won't be able to get married like this." Smack, Chen Jia knocked hard on Han Fei's head. "Brat, hurry up and set sail." Fishing masters had to register when they went to the level 1 fishery, which was very important because fishing masters were the backbone of the village. The loss of one would make people sad. On the way, Han Fei's head was turned 100%. Everyone was looking at this fat man. The most annoying thing was, why were there two beauties beside this guy? Are women these days all so shallow? Shit, it seems that the spirit-swallowing fish has been taken by the iron-head fish. Why haven't I seen this fat man before? Is there such a person in our heavenly water village? He's so fat. How much food did he eat? I guess he must eat at least 20 yellow croakers a day to be so fat. Han Fei couldn't bear it anymore and shouted at the passers-by, "Enough. You guys are just fishers. Be careful or I'll throw you off the floating island." But no one took him seriously. Even when the tigers were here, they didn't dare to throw people off the floating island. Who did this fat man think he was? Chen Ling said, "Brother Han Fei, forget it. You can consider wearing a mask when you go out in the future." Han Fei replied, "That's self-deception." Chen Ling giggled. "It's okay. Anyway, you are still young. When you grow up, you will lose weight." Han Fei, the level 1 fishery. When the fishing boat entered the water, it suddenly sank and Han Fei frowned. "Don't remind me that I'm very heavy, okay?" Chen Jia said, "This time we can fish at ease. Uncle Chow has united the Heavenly Wood Village and the Heavenly Water Village. Now the 3 villages have a common enemy. I think the level 1 fishery will be relatively stable during this period." Chen Ling asked, "Brother Han Fei, have you practiced the 2nd level of true spirit fishing? This level 1 fishery is not an ordinary fishery. It's hard to catch 500 caddies of spirit-swallowing fish with the 1st level of immobilization." Han Fei said, I have a try." Han Fei took out the black iron rod. As for the fine iron rod, he threw it into the warehouse of the fish dragons. Whoever wanted it could have it. Anyway, his black iron rod was a mortal-level high-quality fishing rod. As for the so-called 2nd level of the true spirit fishing art, Han Fei didn't care at all. Who would pay attention to a low-level one when there was a better one? The rod skill attached to the 2nd level of void fishing was hook god skill, which was actually 3 kinds of hook skills, namely thousand twining, flash hook, and winding snake. The thousand twining was actually to control the silk thread on the fishing rod. Because of the hook kiss, Han Fei could perceive the movements of the fish underwater. As long as it was not a blade fish with a saber, it was basically impossible to escape after being tied up by the thousand twining. The 2nd kind was flash hook, which was prepared for some clever fish that ate the bait and didn't take the bait. When the fish was close to the hook, he could directly control the hook to flash at an extremely fast speed. Ordinary fish couldn't escape at all. The 3rd method, the winding snake technique, was actually a deceptive fishing technique. The winding snake technique would make the hook draw a spiritual energy fish in the seawater while hiding the hook itself. This way, the bait would be more enticing and the bait rate would be higher. Han Fei hadn't fished for a long time. He felt like a treasure hunter. Only when he was looking for treasure would he feel excited. And at this moment, he was a little bored, so he was trying these 3 fishing skills. Huh. It ran away. No, I didn't entangle it fast enough and it made a noise. No, I injected too much spiritual energy and the entangling line was stretched, giving the fish a chance to escape. Woo! Spirit swallowing fish. Entangle. Han Fei pulled the line and the spirit-swallowing fish ran out of the line hole with a swish. Han Fei, Qin Jia, said, "Brother, be patient. This place is different from ordinary fisheries. Even the most common spirit-swallowing fish are very cunning." Han Fei glanced at Qin Jia, who had already caught 4 or 5 spirit-swallowing fish and curled his lips. Unfortunately, his face was too fat now, so no matter how he moved his mouth, it was as if he hadn't moved at all. Entangle. This time Han Fei acted quickly and a 4-arm-long spirit-swallowing fish was pulled up from the sea. Han Fei immediately laughed. "See, it's so easy. I can catch 500 catties today." Chen Ling, Qin Jia, the spirit-swallowing fish were not big, or rather, very small. Compared to other fish species, they were too small, but there were so many of them. After an hour, Qin Jia, and Chen Ling had caught dozens of fish, which weighed at least 70 or 80 catties. But Han Fei only caught 7 or 8. Qin Jia, suggested, "Brother Han Fei, why don't we change places?" Chen Ling agreed. "Yes, maybe it'll be better if we change places." Han Fei said leisurely, "No, I'm just playing with the fish." The 2 girls were too embarrassed to expose him. He was young and cared about his reputation. No one would dislike him if he didn't catch enough fish. In fact, the 2 of them didn't know that Han Fei was really playing with the fish. He was using the winding snake technique at the moment. The underwater fish hook was like a spiritual fish, and there were dozens of spirit-swallowing fish chasing after him. The spirit-swallowing fish, which were extremely sensitive to spiritual energy, would never let go of anything with abundant spiritual energy. Han Fei smiled, shook the fishing rod in his hand, and the spiritual energy fish instantly went into the mouths of the 2 spirit-swallowing fish. Up! Looking at the 2 spirit-swallowing fish on Han Fei's fishing rod, Qin Jia, and Chen Ling were both surprised. 1 hook, 2 fish. Ha! It's a fluke. Qin Jia, exclaimed, "Wow! This is a 1 in 10,000 chance. Little brother, you're so lucky." Han Fei's face was black. "Can you get rid of the word little?" Qin Jia, Han Fei tried all 3 fishing techniques. They were not difficult, but they required a lot of proficiency and spiritual energy. After trying, he found that the winding snake technique was not suitable for fishing in the level 1 fishery. A spiritual energy fish cost at least 30 points of spiritual energy. Plus the cost of fishing, he could hardly make a profit. Another 2 hours later, the 2 girls were depressed because they found that Han Fei caught more and more spirit-swallowing fish. In the beginning, he only caught 1 in half a day, but now he caught 1 in a few minutes. This speed made them feel ashamed. Chen Ling and Qin Jia, murmured, "Is it true that geniuses learn everything fast?" Qin Jia nodded. "I think so." "Huh. Lower your head." Han Fei shouted at Qin Jia, and Chen Ling. The 2 girls subconsciously lowered their heads, only to hear the sound of swish and clank. After a while, when the 2 girls raised their heads again, they found a string of black thorns. Chen Ling asked, "Ball fish?" Qin Jia, complained, "Brother, is your body made of fine iron?" Han Fei was holding a ball fish with only the skin left. He took out a dagger and cut it open, pinched out the small mass of white meat in the middle, put it into his mouth and swallowed it. Han Fei said, "I told you not to discriminate against fat people. Fat people are very powerful." In the evening, Han Fei had caught as many spirit-swallowing fish as the two girls, and he also caught a swordfish. He was pricked by the swordfish, but the fish's mouth was broken. "I'm so lonely. Sisters, shall we go for a walk underwater?" Qianling asked, "Are you crazy? This is the level 1 fishery. But I think I can go down. Maybe I can catch 2 rare fish." Chen Jia added, "We are not as fat as you. If a few swordfish catch up with us, we will be injured." Fishermen in the level 1 fishery often spent the night at sea. Night fishing was also a common thing. But no one would go into the water, because at night, the entire level 1 fishery would become a bloody hunting ground. Suddenly, Qianling said seriously, "Han Fei, stop fishing. A boat is coming." There was more than one boat coming. There were as many as 3, and there were 7 fishing masters on each boat. Chen Jia complained, "Damn it, I thought the place we chose was remote enough. How did they find us?" "Ha! People from the Heavenly Water Village, hand over your harvest today, and I can spare your life." Han Fei asked Chen Jia, "Which village are they from?" Chen Jia said, "Look at the boat. There is a fire sign on their boat. They are from the Heavenly Fire Village." Han Fei said, "Fire and water are incompatible." "Hey! Which fatty is talking to you?" Read 2. Chapter 113. Han Fei only felt the sea breeze blowing on his face, which was full of sadness. Han Fei took a deep breath. "Sister Jia, control the boat to hit them." Chen Jia, added, "Han Fei, they outnumber us, but we can run away quickly." "No. He has insulted me and caused great harm to my life. Hit them." Chen Jia, rolled her eyes. Ever since her brother became a fatty, he wasn't that cute anymore. Whenever someone mentioned the word fatty, he would give them a sour look. Now, he was going crazy. But Chen Jia, was not afraid. Although the other party outnumbered them, she could run away at the critical moment. Anyway, their boat was better. Seeing the white fishing boat rushing at them, the man on the opposite side shouted, "Fatty, are you crazy? We just robbed you of a few spirit-swallowing fish. Do you have to die with us? Who are you calling fatty?" With a bang, the other party had no time to escape and the boat hit them. Han Fei's fat body jumped into the sky and fell heavily on the other party's boat. "Get him!" The people from the Heavenly Fire Village were also ruthless. They didn't expect this fatty to be so ruthless as to hit them with his boat. Thud! Han Fei directly pressed the other party's fishing boat into the water and almost disrupted the other party's formation. The young man smashed his rod on Han Fei's stomach with surging spiritual energy, making Han Fei's stomach deflate a little. However, Han Fei's stomach stuck out and the young man flew back with the rod. He hit the railing hard and even deformed it. Hiss! The 3 fishing masters of the Heavenly Fire Village were stunned. Is he really so ruthless? He didn't even use spiritual energy and blocked it with his body. Although it was not a spiritual energy explosion, his body shouldn't be able to block it. Han Fei scratched his stomach, pointed to the man who was knocked flying, and said, "I'll give you another chance to organize your words. Speak properly. Fatty, you're courting death. We have 3 fishing boats. You..." Before he could finish his words, he saw the fat man in front of him suddenly appear in front of him with a speed that did not match his figure at all. The fat man grabbed his leg with one hand and lifted his whole body up. Duang! Duang! The young man's head was bleeding and his internal organs were rolling. He was moaning and vomiting blood. Dang! Dang! Han Fei felt that he had been hit twice and staggered 2 steps forward. He looked back, only to see that the other 2 people from the Heavenly Fire Village were staring at him, dumbfounded. Your body can actually withstand the spiritual energy explosion." Bang! Han Fei rushed forward and opened his arms, knocking the 2 of them to the ground. Then, he didn't use his weapon. Instead, he sat down. Blurg, one of them spat out a mouthful of old blood after being sat on. The other person immediately peed his pants. He quickly jumped into the sea, and at the same time, hooked his fish hook to another fishing boat from the Heavenly Fire Village. Did I say you could go? Come back here. Han Fei waved the black iron rod in his hand, and the man who was flying in the air immediately retracted his legs. He was tied up and dragged back. Bang! With just one punch, that person flew into the distant sea and fell into the water with a splash. The two girls, Chen Jia, and Chen Ling, were dumbfounded. Is this Han Fei's strength? What happened to him? It's only been a few days. In just half a month, he single-handedly killed 3 fishing masters without even using spiritual energy. The other 2 fishing boats from the Heavenly Fire Village were about to come to support, but when they were still more than 30 meters away, they found that the people on their fishing boat had been killed by the fatty. Immediately, the people on the 2 boats began to swallow. Is that fatty from the Heavenly Water Village? Isn't this too terrifying? When did the Heavenly Water Village have such a figure? Hey! Fatty, let's talk it over. Let our people go, and we'll leave immediately. Aw! I told you not to call me Fatty. Han Fei grabbed the 2 people under his feet, one in each hand, and threw them at the fishing boat like throwing big yellow croakers. That huge force directly smashed the internal organs of the 2 fellows, who were already seriously injured, to the point where they were almost crushed. But did Han Fei just give up? Han Fei jumped and threw himself into the sea, setting off huge waves. On the Heavenly Fire Village's side, as soon as the 2 teammates were helped up and spread on the deck, someone asked, Huh? Where's the fatty? He seems to have jumped into the sea. Huh? Did he take things too hard and commit suicide? Bam! The surface of the water suddenly exploded, and Han Fei stood on the deck of the ship with a bang. Han Fei's face was black. I'll give you a chance to reorganize your words. Who is the fatty? Gulp, Big Brother, it's our Heavenly Fire Village's fault. Big Brother, you, bam, with a bang, the man smashed the deck and fell into the fish cabin. Who's your big brother? I'm only 12 years old. I don't have a brother as old as you. Everyone was agitated. Damn you. You're only 12 years old. What if you're 22 years old? But the people of the Heavenly Fire Village dared not say anything. Finally, someone stood up. It's a misunderstanding. Little brother, this is completely a misunderstanding. Han Fei asked, then let me ask you, am I fat? No, of course not. Are you kidding me? If anyone dares to say you are fat, I'll be the first to argue with him. Your figure is definitely the standard in our village. Slim. Everyone cursed in their hearts. Don't you feel guilty for lying through your teeth? The person on the other side was already as fat as a ball, and you still had a standard figure and slim figure? How shameless must you be to say such words? Han Fei took a closer look and found it was a boy who seemed not much older than him. You have a good eye. Since you're so eloquent, give us all the spirit-swallowing fish and you can go. The other boat wanted to come, but their 5 fishing masters were in the hands of the other party. If they ran away, what would they say when they returned to the village? The boy from the Heavenly Fire Village also took a long breath. Yes, of course. I'll carry them for you. Chen Jia, and Chen Ling were dumbfounded. This is only the second time you've come to the level 1 fishery. The first time, you only stayed for an hour, and the second time, you overturned 2 fishing boats and snatched so many spirit-swallowing fish. At this moment, the people of the Heavenly Fire Village all shut up. No one dared to mention the word fatty again. Han Fei looked at the boy and asked, What's your name? The boy paused and then said, Ding Yu. Han Fei nodded. Okay. Since you're so sincere, I've decided to give you a chance. How about forming an alliance with our Heavenly Water Village? Everyone. The people of the Heavenly Fire Village wanted to curse. You just killed one fishing master and crippled 3 of us, and now you want to form an alliance with us. Han Fei thought quickly. Forming an alliance often happened in the level 1 fishery. If he forced the people of the Heavenly Fire Village to overturn the boats of the Heavenly Sun Village or the Heavenly Moon Village, would they be bound together in the future? Qin Jia suggested, Han Fei, we've caught too many fish. Shall we go back first? Chen Ling added, yes, yes. Our boat has been stuffed with 3,000 caddies of spirit-swallowing fish. I'm afraid we can't fit any more. Han Fei suggested, it's only the first day. Why do you want to leave? How about we requisition a fishing boat from the Heavenly Fire Village? The people of the Heavenly Fire Village wanted to vomit blood. Someone thought to himself, I've never encountered such a situation in the level 1 fishery for so many years. Han Fei's existence seemed to be a bug in the level 1 fishery. They couldn't beat him or scold him, so they could only accept their fate. On the fishing boat, Qin Jia suggested, Brother Han Fei, we can't trust the people of the Heavenly Fire Village. We have too few people and fishing boats here. We'd better go back first, gather a group of people, and try again. Chen Ling added, yes. Although you are very strong now, if you are besieged by several peak-level fishing masters, you will still be in danger. Han Fei suggested, why don't you go back first? I'll go and see if there are rare fish. The 2 girls didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chen Ling suggested, rare fish are not so easy to find. Even if there are, they won't tell you. Han Fei muttered, if I had known they were so weak, I would have come here alone. It's not easy for me to go into the water and find fish with the 2 of them. Wait, Chen Ling suddenly pointed to the sea in the distance. Look, what's that? Looking in the direction Chen Ling pointed, they only saw a big golden fish, which seemed to have a big bump on its head, jumping on the sea. Before Qin Jia reacted, someone from the Heavenly Fire Village shouted, God, it's a treasure-digging fish, read too. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.